Other offer. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
Spring cleaning is upon us, but there's one meaningful box that you don't throw away when cleaning out your closet. It's the box filled with your family's important videotapes, film reels, and photos. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago to help families organize and update their analog media to digital.
Legacy Box is simple and easy. It works and is safe. Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box.
And Legacy Box has been featured in Good Housekeeping, The Today Show, and Rachel Ray.
Legacy Box is like magic, converting your shoebox of memories to the cloud or thumb drive, ready to watch and share.
Declutter your closet by digitizing your media. Become more organized and accomplished, knowing your family's recorded past is safe forever. Take advantage of our spring cleaning sale going on now. It's the easiest task to check off your to-do list.
For a limited time, you can get started for just $9 a tape. Visit legacybox.com/radio to get our $9 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to get our $9 offer. Legacybox.com/radio.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the Radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the Radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! What's up? Let's get this thing cracking. You know who it is. Scallywags, nutmeggers, conversationalists, and of course you haters. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080, the world's most hated and in many places the most racist talk show host in America. That's what they think. That's what they say. They call me racist. I don't know. Whatever. That's what they got to call me. That's what they call me. I don't care. Anyway, a lot of stuff going on today. As you heard, downtown Hartford is on fire. Let me say this to you, and this is important if you're listening to the show. If you are listening to the show now, and you are on your way down to 300 Capitol to go see what's going on, testify, to speak your mind, to let your voice be heard, can you please express to the folks there that I am absolutely in awe of all of the families that showed up. It is not like when you see it on television. You have to be there in the room to see those parents who are there with their children, and just rallying with one another. An entire community, a culture of parents who are there. And I'm not going to lie, how do you do it? I don't know how you do it. A lot of mothers And fathers we saw walking in ahead, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9 kids. It's like a lot of kids. And they sit at home with them. Let me say this. This is an important thing. I'll get you in here real quick, honey. And you're a mother, so I want a lot of your time is going to be spent on here talking about what you experienced with me today. Roseanne is in the house. But I just want to say this real quick before I get you on there. This is the thing. Mothers will understand what I'm about to say. For those of you who do not homeschool, there is a common trend amongst parents with children when the summertime comes. Parents who say, I can't wait till the school year starts so they can get back to school, so that they can get out of the house. Now, not that they don't love their children. Is that, yes, children, especially if you have multiple ones, if you have 2 boys, you have a boy and a girl, there's bickering, there's fighting, there's screaming, there's hollering, and all this other stuff, and parents sometimes just want peace. I get that. Don't get me wrong. I've been there. But these parents, as Deborah Stevenson said, it is a sacrifice. And I didn't understand it until I sat in that watch room with all of those parents and the strollers and the kids. Sit down. No, stop going underneath there. Kids on the floor. Just, it was just everywhere. But it was not a nuisance. It was just beautiful. And it gave me a sense of, you know what? I'm going to tell the tale out of school, and I'm going to bring her in while I do it. Roseanne, for the first time, and I thought you were, I thought you were a little out of sorts, but I think in a moment there, I understood why you asked me whether or not we wanted to start over and bring another child into the world, to be in that room to watch these mothers and these fathers with their kids and see how adorable and well-mannered these children were, just having a good time and playing with each other. You can't help but say to yourself, I want to do this. I think I want to homeschool. It was just insane. Roseanne is in the house. You were there. You witnessed this. You were leading some of the applause in the room.
I was. I think, okay, so people who know me outside of the radio know that I have said and will repeat with fervor, I hate kids.
Yeah.
I hate other people's kids. I like mine, right? The reason why, and I think today sort of solidified it for me, it's not that I hate kids. I hate what the public schools are turning children into. The kids today, here's a couple things that you didn't point out. Almost every child had a book, a notebook. They weren't looking at iPads and cell phones.
Yes, that's so true.
They were reading books. They were drawing. They were engaging with their siblings. This isn't something you see
totally
normally.
missed that. You are so right.
That's a mom thing, I guess. But the other thing I noticed, too, is even though there were, like, the little boy, that adorable, my gosh, he was so adorable, wearing that green and blue striped shirt.
Yeah.
He kept getting in and out of his seat and was slamming back and making a loud noise. And the parents were so, like, you could tell they were like, stop it. And you and I are just sitting there like, oh, my God, it's the cutest thing I've ever seen in the world. That was the extent of unruly behavior. And I'm using the air quotes around unruly because it really wasn't. It was a little boy being a little boy sitting in a thing where he was completely bored and just trying to maintain, right? There was no screaming. There was no fighting. There was no running around. You didn't have a bunch of little heathens running around.
Wasn't that wild? With all of those children, there was no screaming, hollering children.
It wasn't wild. That's normal. That's normal. That's how I was raised. We weren't running around. We knew we're going in public, behave accordingly. You want to act like a heathen, wait till we get home and mom and dad unleash you on the playground. That's where you go and act like a heathen. But I loved watching all these kids today. And the other thing I told you was the amazing thing is all of these kids are in school right now. They're having a live civics lesson that they get to not only watch in real life, but in some cases they actually got to participate.
That, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Those kids.
Their parents allowed the children.
My kids are trash. I was going to say, my kids are trash. I'm looking at these kids going, I'm trash. Just how young and elegant and poised and articulate these children were, and so unafraid to just speak to these politicians.
Yeah, grown-ups even.
Yeah.
And to go out there and talk about their own personal experiences. There was a cynic part of me that said, all right, which parent helped them write this? But the one boy who...
The white hat?
No. The young man, he had
with the
blue shirt on. He had the ears.
Oh, he was adorable.
Absolutely adorable.
Fourth grade.
When he was talking, he had the best... Let me tell you something. This I know, that he wrote his statement himself, which I thought was one of the funniest things. This young man starts talking about how, he was doing great in school, how he loved his teachers in the third grade, right? Talked about his school teachers. Talked about being around them and how great they were. And then in the fourth grade, how everything dramatically changed. He talks about the fourth grade, how it dramatically changes. He ends up going into homeschooling. He talks about how nervous and uncomfortable he was to do this. He wasn't sure in the beginning what the school was like. But then he found out all of these great things, and they were get-togethers with other homeschool kids.
Not going back to school day in September.
Exactly.
I loved it.
They went to not going back to school day, a sort of picnic together. But the part that warmed my heart was what he said about his father, which was hilarious because he said, my father loves this because, he loves these trips. He said, because they're really cheap and he doesn't like to spend a lot of money.
Well, they're all free or cheap.
Yeah, free or cheap. And he doesn't.
They're happening during the school day.
Yeah, and he was just talking about his dad, which I thought was hilarious, but true.
If you think about it, like if you send your kid on a field trip, even like to the museum. Museums are free.
Yeah.
Well, everybody has to pitch in and pay for the bus and pay the bus driver.
Right.
And pay for, parking spots. And then they got to bring a lunch. I mean, there's just so much money. So here you are as a parent giving your kid $20 to go to school to the museum, and this is happening 4 or 5 times a year. And assuming you've got more than one kid, this is a lot of money going out the door for a free public school.
Yeah.
But here you are as a homeschooled parent getting together with like-minded homeschooled parents with kids who behave just as well as yours. And these kids are so academically advanced. I mean, we consider them advanced, right? These kids are learning at their own pace, and the abilities and the capabilities of these kids. And so they're going out into these public excursions to take advantage of just what's already existing, right? The Mark Twain House, an art museum, a public park, some historical monument. They get to go for free with a bunch of people who think and act just like them. And mom's sitting back there going, girl, let the kids go play. You and I are going to hang out back here, and we're going to attack the next
curriculum.
Sure.
Sure.
Maybe we're going to talk about some difficulties we're experiencing. Maybe we're just friends and we like each other.
Yeah. But I thought was amazing, and it's a sad part about the testimony that happened. And you can all go and see this online. You have no idea. Just see the first hour.
That's all we got to see.
That's all we got. But if you see the first hour we got to see was amazing. And I want to talk about this one particular mother before we go to break, because then we have to give the downside to this, and that's the state's case. And we have to break that down as well. But I want to talk a little bit about this mother who had the daughter. She has one daughter in public school.
Abby's
and she has
mom.
Abby's mom.
Yeah.
And Abby's mom came and spoke. She's got one daughter, Abby, who is at home. She's got another daughter who is in the public school,
right?
Which I can imagine is a difficult situation. But Abby's mom got up there to speak about the abuse of her daughter, Abby, at the school. At the school.
That everybody was aware of. Educators, administrators,
the police,
superintendent, the police, everybody.
Right. And the daughter, Abby, ended up suffering from anxiety and is
I think it's important you have to say what,
Well, she was assaulted.
Really
I just want to leave it at that. I want to leave it at that.
Yes.
I don't want to. I don't want to sort of. You know what I mean?
Right.
She was assaulted.
Not good.
It wasn't a good assault.
Yeah.
Well, no assault is good.
Yeah. But this one,
this was as you can expect
egregious.
What it was.
Horrible.
And the fact that this young lady dealt with that, and her mother pulled her out of school, and Abby's mom came there to talk to them about the most important thing is that the focus should have been and should be, as far as the school board committee is concerned, should be on the school that allowed that to happen in the school, even though they had knowledge of it. They knew that Abby was never going to return to that school after what was done to her. Now, why did they know that? Because they knew that they had no response and they had failed her. They didn't expect her to return.
When a minor child commits the act that Abby suffered, her perpetrator, there's almost no legal recourse for a perpetrator that young.
Exactly.
So the police can be called, that's fine, but then what?
So that whole point is that the fact that the school knew that Abby was not going to return to school.
And they made that very clear
made
to
it clear
Mom.
to the mother who testified to that.
She's not coming back, so everything is fine.
Yeah. And what she was saying was that if you know that's happening, if you know that there are horrible schools that have horrible test scores, if you know there are schools that have got absenteeism, truancy even, and missing for that matter, to the thousands. We're talking about the tens of thousands of kids who are missing at school. Yet there's no DCF case against those families who have kids who are not being educated.
Right.
Why would you go after homeschooling kids when you have obviously an epidemic of children who are missing school, who are out there just anywhere for that matter? That should be the focus. That's the part that bothers me. But I want to mention this about Abby's mom and what she said. Before I get to the negative stuff, I want to point out the positive of what she said. One, she made it clear she didn't know what she was doing in the homeschooling space, but she took it on. And what she realized and why she was empowered to homeschool her daughter was because the networking was incredible.
Yeah, she said even families who didn't know her were coming to her aid and offering support and resources and guidance. I mean, how do you turn your nose up at that?
Exactly. So here it was that everyone sort of rallied around someone in the space. Deborah Stevenson came here when she got her own daughter into homeschooling, said the same thing Abby's mom said. And that was, hey, I need you to meet this woman. And she meets this woman. Next thing you know, she's homeschooling her child. And then they develop a friendship because they can all network. And they're all helping each other find new and inventive ways. When we come back, we have to talk about the downside of this. And that is, what is it? The Office of Child, whatever. What's the name of the group?
Office of Child. Oh, I wrote it down.
Whatever.
It's the OCA.
Yeah, OCA. It's
the Office of the Child Advocate.
Yes, Office of the Child Advocate. That's it. I want to talk about the woman who spoke there today, and what she revealed. Many people may have missed. But I caught it because there was a lot of focus on it. And she didn't make a strong case for the reason why these families should have a DCF file if they decide to pull out their kids, or that the families who already have should have a DCF file on them anyway. That was missed. But what I really, really want to focus on is what was sort of driven home by a lot of people who are supportive of this bill. And it's scary to me that this I'm almost certain that they are going to vote for this bill, and it is going to pass. However, what's going to be exposed in all of this in the next coming days is going to be really, really horrible for DCF. They do not know it yet. They should have backed off. They should have told Martin Looney or whoever it is to stay away from this. Mm-hmm. Because when the lawsuits come, DCF is going to be dragged into this. They have to be.
And OCA, because OCA oversees DCF.
Exactly.
So,
and there is going to be a fight for discovery to look at DCF's books. It will be an oversight none of them are prepared for.
How old was that little girl that said that? She's like 13.
Yeah. There is going to be a look into DCF that they do not want revealed. And there's a part of me, and I say this all the time, folks, it sounds like I'm being crazy here, but there's a part of me, for that reason alone, I want them to pass it because I want the lawsuit to come. I want the civil rights of these homeschooling parents violated in this way. I want their constitutional rights violated in this way. So
To
that
force
when the
the
case,
hand.
exactly, to force the hand of this Supreme Court case so that we get to the bottom of every bit of DCF and where it's lacking, that they will be shown to be an organization that not only could not handle the amount of homeschooled kids as a factor,
Right?
but where they are, pardon the pun, truant in taking care of the kids who are already under their care.
DCF should not be allowed to handle paperwork, let alone children.
I know. It's really, really bad. Anyway, when we come back, we'll have more news and more views. When we return, we'll talk a little bit more about what we saw today, the people we spoke to. And stay tuned in the 4 o'clock hour. I think I have some news on Governor Lamont that we need to pay attention to. And that information came to me today. So we'll talk about that and much, much more. It's Reese on the Radio. Roseanne's here. It's WTIC, News Talk 1080.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest.
A Social Security update. 70 million Americans collect Social Security benefits today, and millions more will join soon. Now, a new study finds 70% of Americans don't get the full benefits they deserve. But recipients can use simple strategies to boost Social Security benefits by as much as $188,000 over a lifetime. Social Security expert Michael Allen says it's true and reveals 5 key strategies to increase your benefits. It's all in his free special report. Newsmax calls the report your best guide for bigger Social Security benefits. Whether you're getting benefits or soon will, you need the Social Security report. Get it free. Call 800-999-9690. 800-999-9690. We'll text it to you right away, along with President Trump's act cutting your Social Security taxes. Call now, 800-999-9690. 800-999-9690. Text and data rates may apply.
And now, a WTIC News Update.
It's 2:30, Hartford temperature 67 degrees. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Man accused in the death of a girl whose remains were found dumped in New Britain last year was in court today. Jonathan Nanita's defense entered a not guilty plea in the death of Jacqueline Torres Mimi Garcia. Nanita is facing a murder charge. He and his girlfriend, Mimi's mother, are facing murder charges, and he's due back in court in May. Man's recovering after being stabbed in New Haven. Victim found just before 8 this morning on Hazel Street. No word yet on a suspect or motive. Controversial bills being considered in public hearings at the state capitol today. Lawmakers in the Public Health Committee hearing testimony about vaccine legislation. Education Committee is hearing comments on homeschooling, and the Judiciary Committee is hearing testimony on so-called convertible guns. Iran has attacked commercial ships across the Persian Gulf and targeted Dubai International Airport, escalating a campaign of squeezing the region as global energy concerns mount. WTIC News Times 2:31. Bob Cox is the forecast.
The mild air holds on this afternoon. Temperatures 65 to 70 degrees out there, cooler near the shore. There could be a passing shower in a few towns before the end of the day. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a couple of showers around, even a thunder shower not out of the question. Temperatures mostly in the 50s. Mostly cloudy Thursday with a few showers in the area. It will become breezy and colder. Temperatures will drop into and through the 40s during the day and then into the 30s. There could even be a few snow showers around later tomorrow and tomorrow evening. Partly cloudy, breezy, and cold Thursday night. Lows in the 20s. Partly sunny with highs in the 40s Friday. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dow's down 319 points. NASDAQ's down 29. S&P is down 16. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, this is Eric Hogarth with Money Wisdom. Last year, inflation was a concern we were all concerned about. Question this year, should it still be? Tune in this Saturday at 8:30 a.m. right here on WTIC News Talk 1080, and let's talk about it.
Are you a commercial building owner in southern New England? Are you frustrated with your roof services? Contact Eagle Rivet Roof Service today. Our skilled technicians provide tailored roof repair and maintenance programs to maximize your building's lifespan. With 24/7 emergency response and comprehensive service options, we are Greater New England's trusted commercial roofing provider. Visit EagleRivet.com for a complimentary inspection or call 860-953-1231. Protect your investment with Eagle Rivet.
March is Connecticut Orchestra Month, and what better way to celebrate than with the Hartford Symphony for Pines of Rome, March 13th through the 15th at the Bushnell in Hartford. Under the direction of guest conductor Kalena Bovell, the orchestra presents a program of orchestral grandeur. Don't miss Ukrainian violinist and Yukon professor Solomia Iakiev performing Mozart Violin Concerto No. 3. Other works include Smetana's The Bartered Bride Overture, Gabriella Lena Frank's Apu, and Respighi's Pines of Rome. For tickets, call 860-987-5900 or visit hartfordsymphony.org.
Larry Older here. You know, one of the most rewarding parts of sharing Relief Factor with you is hearing real stories like that of Sandra. She tells us, I've been hearing about Relief Factor on the radio for a couple of years, and I finally decided to try it because nothing else was helping my back pain. I know the feeling. With a 3-week quick start, she said, I went for it. Now I feel like a new person. That's Sandra's own words, and it's so gratifying to hear. I've told you about my brother Kirk, having difficulty going up and down the stairs in the morning. He wouldn't listen to me. I told him to take Relief Factor. He finally did. Began moving better, feeling stronger. Too bad he didn't listen earlier. Try it for yourself. The 3-week quick start. And see how Relief Factor could be your game changer too. It is only $19.95. Think about it. Do the math. Less than $1 a day. So call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800, the number 4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com, all one word, relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
Pete Sweeney, Director of Operations at United Tool and Die Company in West Hartford.
Pete had a problem. His MSP's long-term contract. It was killing his IT budget. Pete called Tab Computer Systems and fixed that problem with Tab's month-to-month, no long-term contract service plan. Pete saves money, and he gets Tab's quick response time.
When we have an issue, we put a ticket in with Tab, either by phone or online.
Pete has an example of Tab's quick, knowledgeable service.
We had an issue with a server. The ticket was immediately responded to. Tab had a tech out here the same day and identified our problem with the server and worked with their team to provide us with a solution to getting the server back online.
Monthly service plans, reasonable rates, and reliable service make Tab the ASP, actual service provider, of MSPs. Call Tab at 1-888-TAB-4-HELP, 1-888-TAB, the numeral 4-HELP, or visit tabinc.com. Technologies advancing business. Tab Computer Systems.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000. 4000.
I'm CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger with your 2026 tax tips. When it comes to side hustles and side gigs, the IRS underscores that income from part-time work, gig activities, or sales of goods and services is generally taxable. If you earned $20,000 and had more than 200 transactions last year, card companies, apps, and online marketplaces will issue Form 1099-K. Even if you don't receive a form, you must report all income on your tax return. This includes payments for any goods you sell, including personal items such as clothing or furniture sold at a gain, or services you provide. So if you're out there hustling, just keep in mind that there might be some money due to Uncle Sam.
Tax season can be overwhelming, but UHY makes it simple. Our professionals provide comprehensive tax advisory services to help individuals and businesses stay compliant and save money. Call our Farmington office at 860-530-6949 or visit farmingtoncpa.com.
Making sense of it all and having fun. That's how we would sum up our show, Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. It's what happens when you take a Gen Xer, a millennial, and a baby boomer and give them a radio show.
We go through the news the same way you and your friends would, taking the serious stuff seriously while also laughing at the absurd.
Each one of us brings a unique perspective to the news of the day, closing the generation gap in a way no other talk show can. Hear Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins weeknights 6 until 9 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
I just did the craziest thing here, Roseanne. I've got your name, Betsy McCoy, up here on the screen instead of your name, which is, I'm not trying to figure out.
There's a family resemblance. I get it. I mean.
Speaking of Betsy McCoy, she will be here at 3 o'clock. Also, Kara Pavlik D'Amato will be here at 4 o'clock. We'll be talking to both of them about everything that happened today. So we are loaded for bear on local news that affects you. We'll also talk about Ned Lamont today and some information that I got from a very reliable source. And I want to thank them for contacting me about that. But anyway, let me get to this. So we had the hearing. There were 3 hearings today. We couldn't get to all of them because we were primarily there for the homeschooling debate, which was what a lot of news media was there for as well, because this really affects families in the state. And in my view, it's a wedge issue that the Democrats cannot win on. Even though they have a supermajority, they stepped in it on this one, in my view. And when you counter homeschooling results versus the public school, because that's what a lot of parents and children were bringing home in their testimony, was that, look, man, I'm learning at my pace, I'm learning well, and the results are overwhelming. When you've got people talking about their kids at 16, 17 years old, going off to Ivy League schools. You've got kids who are preteens graduating high school because they're doing far better. I'm not going to lie. I know that there's a bitterness in every one of those eyes who are supporting this measure.
Are salty.
There's a bitterness that says to these parents and to these children, you know, I got it. I'm going to go ahead because I'm going to go someplace in here.
The best indicator was when that, what's her name, Gahio, whatever that.
Yeah, Gio.
Whatever. She said that some of these parents are capable of educating their kids because they have degrees in higher education and higher learning. Some of them are capable of providing an adequate education.
Thank you for noticing that. And that's the deal. That's exactly what was exposed, is that the only people who can teach their children are those who are educated in her sort of cookie-cutter world of education.
High school dropout. I completed the 10th grade. I dropped out my junior year of high school. I have some college. I was a medic in the Army. I went through basic training. I did all the basic stuff to be a functional, capable human being, right? With that minimal amount of education, I, by myself, and I'm going to brag about this till the day that I die, taught my son how to read thoroughly by the age of 3. By kindergarten, he was reading chapter books. I wasn't formally educated by
Right.
some Department of Ed.
Right. And again,
And I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you again. And I was a military brat, which means I went to like 13 elementary schools, 8 middle schools. I went to 4 high schools. So I didn't have a consistent education. And this is all across the country. So my academic spectrum ran the gambit.
Mhm.
There was no, stable basis for
the
my
part
education.
that people are missing about this, and I think what was her name? What's the woman's first name? Christina Gio. Here's the problem that she has, as do a lot of the people who support this bill have, right? They miss a very key element in all of this, right? Think about it this way. I can have a teacher's investment in mine and 25 other kids, or I can have a parent's investment in their own. Ask yourself, as a mother, even if you are in support of public school, even if you are a public school teacher, okay? You've been a teacher. You have parents who are teachers, cousins who are teachers. Ask yourself this question. Whom do you trust more with the well-being of your child, bar none? Even in the world where there are abusive parents, if you had to make a choice, who do you put in charge of the welfare of your child more? A school administrator, a school teacher, a resource officer, or the parent? Mom. Mom or dad.
I'm not going to lie to you. Even as the mom, right, and I had 2 children that were not biologically mine, I loved my husband. I really did. And there were a lot of things I trusted him with, unfairly, but I did trust him with a lot of things. One of the things that I always believed in my heart of hearts I was capable of doing better than him was loving, nurturing, protecting, educating, and training our children.
Even your stepchildren.
Even the children that were not biologically mine.
That's right.
Because dads are great. Really, y'all provide a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, we're fun.
But nobody can do it like mom.
Right. So
nobody can do it
that's
like mom.
the part that I'm trying to understand, that if a mother put them in that situation, and you will hear a mother go, like a good mother, even a half-ass mother, would say, I die for my babies. Well, yes.
Not if you're in California.
Yeah. But the bottom line is that if you know that about your mother and you say, okay, what lengths would you go to educate your child? I don't think there's a mother out there that says, well, wait a minute, like, okay, so you're telling me if I have to educate them, is there a place that I can go to where I can learn to do this? And mothers would jump at the chance. Right. They would, to educate their child. Imagine, and this is another thing, I just want to say this. This is why we get on Roseanne about this. And she knows this because I kind of tease her, but not a lot because I get in trouble if I do. I'm going to tell you this about it. Roseanne just said to you a moment ago, I will keep bragging about this till I die. I had my kid reading chapter books by the time he was in kindergarten. We always rag on Roseanne. We get it, Roseanne. We know you did it. But I want you to understand it. What she is talking about is she had no formal education to go on. She does not have the degrees that Christine Gio is talking about. And yet she has the accomplishment as a mother to say, I taught my son how to read in kindergarten.
Before kindergarten.
Before
He was 3.
Okay, before
He
kindergarten.
couldn't even tie his shoes, but he could
That
read.
mothers celebrate themselves. You remember Bill Burr with that joke he used to say about mothers said the most difficult job in the world is being a mother. And he would make fun of it and say, oh, look, I have to bend down to put the DVD in so they can watch the, he was mocking it, but truth be told, right? Mothers are educating their children. He made light of it, but the truth is that mothers just don't pop in the DVD and have wine at 11.
What people don't understand is you are literally homeschooling your child from the moment they are born.
There you go.
You talk to them, you change their diapers, you love them, you nurture them, you teach them to walk.
You read to them.
If some do, some don't.
Right.
But every single thing that you do, the way that you behave, the way that you respond to conflict or a good time, the way that you behave, your child is learning and observing everything that you do.
Everything that they do is a learning experience with their parents.
Everything.
Right.
So you are homeschooling your child from day one. Now all of a sudden they turn 5 and I've got to hand them over to a complete stranger who doesn't understand my child. And that's the other thing Abby's mom said. She's got one in public school, one at home. You have to understand the difference between your children. They are different.
That's right.
I can educate my 3 kids differently based on the way that they learn, the way that they behave, and their preferences. If I try to teach them all to do the same exact thing and behave the exact same way, I am creating problems. Somebody's getting left behind, somebody's being uneducated, somebody's feeling left out. It's problematic. Know your children. Mothers know their children, and they educate their children accordingly.
Yeah. And I would say that the bottom line is what this hearing exposed most about this was Christine Gio wanted very much to control the curriculum.
She literally said it.
She
Not
did-
only that, but she wants to be able to monitor and standardize testing at the home school level. But here's my question. How are you how long is it going to take them to get the results back to determine whether or not this child was properly educated?
That's correct.
They can't even monitor 90,000 students who are missing from school every day.
And that's another argument that was made by one of the parents, was that here you are talking about you want to make sure that what the child is learning is up to code, right? Is up to standard. Well, let me just finish this part because I'll lose it. Is that it is up to code, right? You want to make sure that they are being educated and not uneducated or miseducated, whatever the case may be. The bottom line is that they wish to control the curriculum that the kids are learning at home that they can determine is acceptable. But one of the parents asked that very, very valuable question. Do you actually have close to 90,000 kids? No, I'm sorry. It was one of the senators said, do you actually have close to 90,000 children who are not receiving an adequate education now because they're not in school? Yes. So that's the DCF focus.
But that's where you're wrong, because she didn't say that we want to standardize their education. What she said is we want to monitor.
Right.
Now, their lack of standardization, like just because they're not on level doesn't mean they're being uneducated.
Well,
that was her safety net. Just because they're not on grade level doesn't mean they're not being educated.
What does that even mean? If they're not on grade level?
Why is that important?
Because they could be above?
Less than 50% of Connecticut public school students can read on a 3rd grade level.
That's a good point.
So just because they're not being educated on level doesn't mean they're not being educated. We just want to make sure they're receiving some sort of education.
That's right, because if you have to hold them to the public school standard, parents could just...
You are done at age 7.
Yeah.
Your kid is done. He can sort of tell colors and shapes. Maybe they can identify the letters in their name.
That's
but
right,
that's
because they
it.
can't hold them to a standard that they don't even reach in the public school.
So it's not that they want to monitor and regulate the education process. They want to monitor and regulate the family. That's what they said. They want to create a list of all the students and all the families that are attending homeschooling, just so we can keep track of where they're at.
Yeah.
Why? Where in the Constitution of the United States or even in the state of Connecticut say that the government has to be in charge of everything that I do with my family? How long until we have somebody standing at the foot of our bed every night, making sure we're sleeping in the right position? Did you brush your teeth? No, you gotta stroke that side 3 more times. You didn't brush that side enough.
It's
overreach.
It is, and they know it's overreach, and
they have nothing to sort of substantiate or show that this is a success.
Oh, only one.
You have to have success.
Kid safety. That's the key word here. Kid safety. That's the whole argument. Why is my phone doing that? I need to fix that. Anyway, that's the whole deal. By the way, we got to take a break. When we come back, we will try to find out why the song Poison was playing in the background a little bit. Somebody mentioned it and said, they're playing the song Poison in the background. I have no idea where it came from, so I apologize. It must be some sort of cross thing that's going on. Betsy McCoy has walked in. Yeah, that's exactly. Betsy McCoy is sitting outside. We're going to get her on here real quick. Is she wearing a fedora? Yes, she is. We'll talk to her in a little bit. Roseanne is here. We'll return momentarily. It's Reese on the Radio.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Ethos.
Want to save money on your next family vacation? Go old school.
44% of today's travel budget is spent on just getting there.
Ed Jertson of the Engage Wealth Group says you can save on airfare by ditching the skies for the old-fashioned road trip. He says family vacation memories are built on experiences, not the price tag attached to them.
Financially and experience-wise, maybe we just need to rethink a little bit of what we're doing.
I'm Rob Hart.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you, with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441. 800-939-1441.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Of course, Betsy's in the house, and she smells like coconut. Grab a seat, Betsy. I promise I'll get to you in a second.
It's not far from coconut. I'm thinking palm trees. Right? Tax haven. Like
Well, you and I are going to have a lot of conversation about Lamont because of some information I gathered earlier today. We'll get into that. Like I said, Betsy McCoy is here. Ryan Fazio was also at the hearing today as some of the young people spoke during the testimony today. And I think it goes without saying that these kids are making the case. I got to be completely honest, Roseanne. When people use the phrase out of the mouths of babes, I often go, they're still kids. You know what I mean? But this is a little different, and I'm going to sound hypocritical. I'm going to go back on what I said about this. Only reason why I say this is because this is something that actually affects the children. So they're talking about something they are experiencing. And hearing from that young man that we were talking about, the one that's talking about his dad, how his dad likes cheap stuff, what's interesting about him is that he understands both worlds. He is a kid who did love public school. He had nothing against it. He saw it where it failed him, and he loves the schooling that he's getting now.
I think his parents saw where it was failing him, right? Yeah. And like you were saying
earlier,
he
said he didn't. He said he felt it as well.
Well, because he said there was a change in the curriculum and the way that he was learning. I'm assuming that's when Common Core became a little bit more.
It may have been different.
Whatever it was that he was learning, the rate at which he was learning, he was already getting extra homework sent home because he was finishing up. He reminded me a lot of the boy, right? Because he's finishing too quickly. Nothing is challenging him. He needs extra work to stay focused in class and not be disrupted. Well, he didn't say disruptive, but I'm assuming. And by fourth grade, everything changed. Suddenly, he's not meeting the standard.
Yeah.
You can't convince me that in, the 2.5-3 months between third and fourth grade, this kid lost a significant amount of his cognitive capabilities, right? There was something happening within the curriculum that prevented him from learning adequately. And again, this is where his parents said, wait a minute, this isn't our kid. He even said it, my parents knew that I was intelligent, right? Your parents know you. Your parents are going to be able to do the best they can for you. So you have to trust that when a parent comes to you and says, my child is not flourishing here, it's my job to ensure that they do, and the parent is willing to take on the reins, get the hell out of the parent's way.
You have to.
You have to. Time after time after time, when we moved from one school district to another, when the boy moved from I think it was 3rd to 4th grade, and they told me, oh, sorry, he's going to have to wait till next year to take the placement exam for the gifted program.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at them and I said, oh, that's adorable. Here's what's really going to happen. You're going to go ahead and give my son that test. I'm not leaving until we do. I wasn't one of the most favored moms by the school administration.
And
but
nor
you know
you're
what?
supposed to be.
But you know what? My son got what he needed.
Yeah.
So trust when a kid looks at you and doesn't know how to articulate, Mom, I'm struggling and I don't understand why. That's why mom is important. That's why it's important to have parents that are engaged, because I can look at my kid and tell something is off, and now I know how to act.
I think that this overreach, it's not as simple as just government overreach. We're going to talk about this a little bit later. We'll talk about it with Betsy. Of course, we'll talk about it with Kara Pavlich when she comes in. But what I really do believe is that, one, it's always money. That's one.
Yep.
And two, it is because these young minds, if you will, are not going to be indoctrinated by this government or any government.
If you will.
And what Adam said yesterday, at the end of yesterday's show, I actually got a chance to meet him at the hearing, was that, these children are going to be raised to be self-sufficient. Why? Because they're going to grow up to be leaders.
Well, they're
going to grow up to be entrepreneurs. Yeah, but they're going to grow up to be entrepreneurs. They're going to learn to not rely on the system where the public school turns these kids. They always make that
Turns
argument.
them into a conveyor belt.
Yeah,
That's what it does.
There are so many
Your job is to shut up, sit down, do the job you're told, and go home at the end of the day and show up tomorrow doing the same thing.
Right. There's so many people that sort of like they treat it like the school to government aid pipeline, that these kids only learn to be either workers or dependents. And what homeschooling is ensuring for their children is that they never rely on anyone but themselves. Their smarts, their abilities, they understand that they are confident and competent.
Right. So
and
are you
that,
sure we can't?
No, we're not having any more children.
Come on.
It would be great. Listen, I would love
to homeschool our babies. I'd love to have a bunch of your little beige babies running around. See, we got Betsy's cosign there.
I love babies.
Yes, Betsy, do not co-sign this, okay?
I can't have a dog. Can I at least have a baby? I mean, gosh.
You don't put a dog through college. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I'm not. We're not talking about this. I love you, but no. Well, like I said, Betsy McCoy is coming up in a little bit. We'll talk about her. She spoke at. Did you get an opportunity to speak today? Yes. Oh, good. I want to talk to you about all of that, and of course where you are on a host of things, and where you are in the campaign. We'll do that in a little bit. So stand by. Like I said, we are loaded for bear today. Real quick, Roseanne.
We are no longer asking for a dog, ladies and gentlemen. It is Operation Beige Baby. Let's go.
Goodbye. Goodbye. John Silva is in the WTIC newsroom. We'll get to him, and then we'll get to Betsy when we return. God bless you, Roseanne. We'll be back. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080. This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the Radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
It's 3 o'clock, Hartford temperature 67 degrees. We'll have partly sunny skies for the balance of the afternoon, just the slight chance for a shower as we make a run at 70 today. Forecast details coming up from the WTIC Weather Center. State lawmakers are hearing public comment on multiple bills today, which have drawn a crowd to the Capitol. One of them includes new guidelines on homeschooling. WTIC's Dave Mager is there.
Bill sponsors say the goal is to prevent child abuse. Lawmakers are hearing from homeschooling parents like Amy from Middletown, concerned that the Department of Education and DCF would be notified when a child is pulled from school.
We're assuming all parents are guilty and have to be proven that they're not guilty through a DCF registry.
Democratic State Rep Matt Blumenthal backs the bill.
I think it's a very reasonable measure to ensure that across the board we have sufficient oversight over all the kids in our state.
Supporters say Connecticut is one of the few states with no oversight of homeschooling. These homeschooling families say they don't want the state interfering with how they teach at home. At the state capitol, Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Not guilty plea by the man accused in the death of a girl whose remains were found in New Britain last fall. Jonathan Nanita was in court today. He's one of 3 adults charged in connection with the death of Jacqueline Mimi Torres Garcia. Nanita was the boyfriend to the 12-year-old's mother, who's also charged in her daughter's death. Mimi's decomposed body was found in a storage container last October. Her death has also led to calls for reform when it comes to homeschooling and DCF. Nanita is due back in courts in May. A bill under consideration in the General Assembly would ban the sale and importation of so-called convertible guns in Connecticut. Those are firearms that can be turned into automatic weapons by installing a device known as a Glock switch. Hyde Harmon of Voluntown is opposed to the bill.
I'm trying to think of how many background checks a person can do in a year. For 55 years, I've carried government clearances. To this day, I carry a secret all the time, and when need be, a top secret. And we don't go through that every time I work on a particular part.
Earl Bloodworth, Executive Director of Connecticut Against Gun Violence, is in favor of the bill.
We are witnessing rapid and troubling changes in firearm technology. Over the past year, law enforcement agencies in many urban communities, Hartford, New Haven, Bridgeport, and suburban communities like West Hartford, have recovered ghost guns and firearms equipped with conversion devices capable of dramatically increasing their rate of fire.
Police chiefs like West Hartford's Vernon Riddick say convertible guns are showing up more frequently in urban and suburban settings. State Department says fewer Americans are seeking assistance to leave the Middle East.
A statement says charter flights have been leaving the region with empty seats, and with commercial flights becoming more available, the State Department is scaling down the number of seats available on its flights as demand has dropped significantly. Over 43,000 Americans have returned from the Middle East since the fighting began, using a variety of means.
That's correspondent Cammie McCormick. For the second time this week, President Trump has apparently indicated that the war in Iran could end soon. Natalie Brand is at the White House.
Governor, it seems like for both parties, perhaps, the extreme right, the extreme left seems to be driving the politics for each of those parties. Is there even a center left for either party or both parties?
It's getting smaller because I'm there, and you're right. I think after Donald Trump's election, the Republicans are a lot less likely to want to talk to me. I always had a big table and an open door, and a lot of people looked at me and said, "God, it looks a little like a Republican." And the Democrats are sort of really fighting Trump every day. And if you don't go after him on a daily basis, you're sort of being weak in terms of your principles. So you're right. The middle's getting very small, and that's not a good thing for America.
The world is concerned as this continues.
WTIC News Time is 3:04. Checking traffic. Any earlier problems we had out here have been cleared. We're in pretty good shape as we get ready for the ride home for this Wednesday. No reported problems along 84 east and westbound in the Hartford area. We're in good shape also on 91. Route 2 is okay. 291 traveling well. 384 is good. Into and out of Manchester. Some delays down along the 95 corridor, northbound side in Westport, between exits 17 and 24. We've got just some volume delays there. Let's check the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
Clouds will continue to roll in with a shower in spots, especially tonight and early tomorrow. The low temperature down to 46. It will be breezy and cooler with a couple of showers tomorrow. The high temperature initially about 55 degrees, but falling into the upper 30s during the day. Tomorrow night it'll be breezy in the evening, otherwise clear with a low temperature of 26. Once we get into Friday, it'll be cooler, it'll be breezy, but we will have increasing clouds with a high temperature of 44. Saturday will be partly cloudy and windy. Those west wind 12 to 25 with gusts 40 to 45 miles an hour, the high temperature reaching 47. And on Sunday, cloudy with a high of 40. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
All right, we've got 67 degrees, partly sunny skies, we'll call it in Hartford. Dow's down 395 points, the NASDAQ down 36, and the S&P is off 23 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I'm John Morgan. There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Reason number 3. First, all lawyers are not the same. If my family had an injury case and I couldn't hire us, there are only about 3 to 4% of the lawyers out there that I would hire. And here's why. Most of them rarely, if ever, go to trial. They just take the last best offer. Hell, you can do that yourself. Do this. If you're looking for a lawyer, Google Morgan & Morgan results and see what comes up. It may shock you. Then Google the firm you're thinking of hiring and do the same. That may shock you as well. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. Morgan & Morgan. For the people.com. Who would I hire? I'd hire us.
Injured? Dial pound law.
Nicholas Russo, 157 Church Street, New Haven, 06510.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and for your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impact it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Northeast Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again. So call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or visit northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
All right, as promised, one of our favorite people here, because she's fun. She's a lot of fun. But I would have to say who has kicked an absolute hornet's nest by jumping into the race. None other than Betsy McCoy is here. I'm telling you, listen, the reason why is because you've actually, and this is my opinion as a radio host, a person who's got to look at this from so many different angles, policy, entertainment, as well as informative. I think that you have sort of made everybody else step up their game here in this election, because there has been, and I think it's been the argument of a lot of people, especially Republicans, is that there was sort of a, wheat toast campaign. Yes. You know what I mean? Sort of milquetoast campaign. It was wasn't energetic and people just moseying through. Now we're seeing some excitement going on here. Forget about the social media campaigns, but there seems to be a fire under Republicans in a way that we've never seen it before.
It's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time. We cannot let this state continue into a death spiral. I say to everyone listening, axe the tax.
Right.
Get rid of the state income tax. All the naysayers who say it can't be done, it's being done in so many states, I cannot count them on one hand. The president and his Council of Economic Advisors issued a report urging states to axe their income tax in order to build prosperity across the nation. And here's the fact. Mm-hmm. This report from the White House says if Connecticut gets rid of its state income tax, the first year, business startups will increase 27%.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're listening and you've always dreamed of having a business, this is your chance. And the average wage in the state, pre-tax, will increase $6,700 the first year. So that's not just the money you save by not having to pay the tax. That's more earnings you're going to earn on your paycheck before you would pay a tax.
You know, and I would even go so far. Why this written report by the White House is so important for Connecticut to consider, is that day in and day out, even from the leftist media in Connecticut, talks about how many people the state is hemorrhaging.
Yes.
Yet when you come out and you say that we need to axe the tax, what's the first thing that everybody says? Oh, it can't be done. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Have you even read the report? In fact, no one even, they only cite you and don't cite the report at all as a sort of backdrop to, okay, here's what Betsy's proposing. Here's what the White House is proposing. Here's why it works or here why it doesn't. We can't even have that discussion in the media.
And by the way, if it were impossible, how come South Carolina is doing it? How come Kentucky is doing it? How come Oklahoma is doing it? Those states are cleaning Ned Lamont's clock. They are showing that it can be done. And there's no austerity. People aren't going without benefits. This is not an austerity plan. It's a growth plan.
Yeah.
And that's what we owe the people in this state, especially the young people so they don't have to leave. We owe them a future. We owe them growth and opportunity and career paths right here in Connecticut.
What did you think of the Black & Decker move out?
Tragic, but just the latest. It's just the latest of so many companies leaving. And let me tell you, the income tax is the number one determinant of a state's economy. Number one.
The part that freaks me out about that is that we were, I want to say 2 months ago, maybe even 3 months ago, we were having a discussion in the news media about Mamdani's election in New York and how many businesses that was going to bring into Connecticut. Dan Haar was writing a report about how great it was going to be that Connecticut was going to reap the rewards of people running out of New York. And then 3-4 months, it wasn't even 2 months into Mamdani's, I guess his mayoral time, that we lose Black & Decker right after. Now, I know I'll even go, some people will say, I have to see the fact that it had to do with tape measures. But then again, Black & Decker doesn't have to leave because what it should do is just manufacture something else.
That's right. And the point is that when I'm elected and I put into place this new plan, companies will start moving in. They'll hear Connecticut is going to be the place to be. That will increase tax revenue. And the bill says, my bill says, when revenue goes up 5%, you axe the tax. Every year that the revenue goes up, you cut the tax rate till you get to zero. It's not an austerity plan. You take the extra revenue and you cut out the income tax. That's how it's done.
Betsy, today you gave a press conference at City Hall. What was that primarily about? Was there a host of things that you wanted to go to, or what was the...
Two big issues.
Yes.
But the overriding theme is this. The Constitution state needs a governor who respects the Constitution.
Let's go.
Duh.
Let's go.
Duh. That's right. Who respects the Constitution and our rights under the Constitution. So, and as you know, I've spent my life on the Constitution. I taught it for many years. I've written about it for many years. Almost all the columns I write are about constitutional issues. I love that document. I carry it in my purse.
All right.
Okay, so let's take a look at this Bill 450, which for ordinary English-speaking people means the vaccine bill, although it's not just a vaccine bill. In fact, the most dangerous part of this bill, Section 8, never mentions the word vaccine. What it does is it codifies giving the governor huge powers on his own or her own to lock down the state if there's another health emergency. Well, Reese, if there's one thing we learned from COVID,
that's right.
It was that lockdowns killed more people than the virus. It did. Deaths of despair from alcoholism, drug addiction, depression, denial of health care. Literally more people died from all of that than from the virus. And Connecticut was one of those states. Remember in March of 2020, Lamont announced that he was locking down the state for 2 weeks, flatten the curve. It went on for months and months and months. People who had spent a lifetime building a business saw it destroyed.
Over.
Nothing for their kids, right? It was so tragic. Why would we write a bill that empowers the governor to do that again.
It's not even the governor. The scariest part about that is that the governor is going to cede that to one individual who will make said mandate for children and adults.
No, this has nothing to do with vaccines.
Oh, okay.
Section 8 of this bill is in a health emergency.
Oh, okay. That's separate. Okay.
Will have these powers. Well, as the future governor of the state, I'm telling you, I reject this dangerous bill. I would never execute those powers. And the fact is, here's what Neil Gorsuch said, a very wise man. He said, since March 2020, we have experienced the greatest intrusions on civil liberties in the peacetime history of this country. He's referring to the shutdown, and he says governors imposed lockdown orders that forced people to remain in their homes. And look at the results. We should never let that happen again. And here is a bill that's putting it into law.
Yeah.
Nobody's read this part of the bill. It is so dangerous that in itself, this bill should be rejected because of that. But I also looked at the vaccine mandate and think, well, I know the United States Supreme Court will reject this bill.
Oh, you're talking about 5044 now?
No, I'm talking about 450.
Oh, 450, that's right.
The
okay.
same bill.
Right.
Because imposing a vaccine requirement without giving people a religious exemption as well as a medical exemption is unconstitutional. And just in case you doubt it, Neil Gorsuch again made it very plain in November of 2020. Now, there's a little story here. Do we have time?
Please, you got time.
So way back in 1905, I used to teach this case. Mr. Jacobson, a Massachusetts resident, challenged a smallpox vaccine imposed by the state of Massachusetts. And he went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court upheld the Massachusetts vaccine. And that's always been cited as precedent for what Connecticut is trying to do. But here's Gorsuch saying, wait a second. He said, you can't use that as precedent because in Massachusetts, Mr. Jacobson had three options. He could take the vaccine, he could pay a fine, or he could choose to have an exemption. Where are the exemptions? Where are the alternatives? Where are the exit ramps in Connecticut? None. You see?
Well, he's not giving it. No one would be given the option to pay a fine.
That's right. And so I'm citing Roman Catholic Diocese of Brooklyn versus Cuomo. November 2020, Neil Gorsuch said, you can't use Jacobson versus Massachusetts to impose vaccines on people. Take it to the bank. This law is a dead letter.
Okay, absolutely. You also went to, you also wanted to address, what was the other bill that you wanted to address?
Oh, the gun bills.
The gun bill. Please talk to me about this.
Well, one of them just makes me howl. It's so ridiculous. Okay, this bill, 5436, it says that if you buy a portion of a gun, a component of a gun, like a barrel, for example, you have to go through the whole process of registering, paying government fees, filling out all that paperwork, as if you had purchased a firearm.
Okay.
So I asked them today, I said, okay, everybody here is a car owner. If you go in to buy a new oil filter, do you have to re-register your car and get a new VIN number?
Good point.
It's exactly the same thing.
It's a good point.
This bill, HB 5436, regulating metal parts of firearms, is just harassment. That is all it is. It's a bill meant to harass gun owners. And just like if you passed...
Who do you think this serves, though? I mean, when I see this
the
type
left
of...
they're maniacally against guns. You see, they think the Second Amendment is the problem instead of the criminals. They would do everything to coddle the criminals. They don't want to send people to jail, especially not illegal aliens, right?
Right.
But they want to really harass gun owners.
I try to explain. I was talking about this yesterday at the end people talk about these laws. And one of the things I try to preach on this show about these laws is that the only person who's affected by a law is a law-abider. That's the bottom line.
That's
right. And the other part
That's
that
right.
people fail to recognize is that laws never prevent crime. They punish them.
That's
what
right.
a law's for. So
yes. And let me just add.
Yes.
what Neil Gorsuch says, and I say it all the time. Just because there's an emergency, whether it's a crime emergency or a health emergency like COVID, the Constitution doesn't take a vacation. It doesn't take a sabbatical. You still are limited in what you can do to us, the people, based on the Constitution. And the folks in Hartford don't seem to realize that. We've got a clean house up there.
Crazy part about the, I remember watching there was a House hearing many years ago. I want to say it was back in 2012, maybe even 2011. There was a House hearing, and Trey Gowdy was still a representative then, still a rep out of South Carolina. You know who Trey Gowdy is. And he was talking to a woman about guns and about gun legislation. And he says to her, "Can you name another constitutional Bill of Rights that the individual has to petition the government to exercise outside of the Second Amendment?" No. And she didn't understand the question, which I thought was amazing. No, she didn't. She
don't
didn't
have to fill out a form to exercise free speech.
That's what I'm saying, right? So this is a constitutional right within the Bill of Rights. Name another law in the Bill of Rights that you have to petition the government to exercise. And it is a great dissertation is to sort of disconnect that the legislature across the country who bring these laws about do not understand. Because, and I've always made this argument, is that once you have one of the Bill of Rights becomes something you must petition the government to have, what else is...
That's right. You're going to need a special license to exercise your free speech rights or to go to church on Sunday.
Yes, exactly. Illegal search and seizure. Right. That's what we are opening the door for, because they will find something that says that one of these Bill of Rights is dangerous.
Well, the left has consistently tried to demote the Second Amendment as if not all the rights in the Bill of Rights are equal. But it's right up there near the top, see? Right up near First Amendments. That's how sacred the Second Amendment is.
Why do you think, as far as this is concerned, and you've been in this a long time, and I know you know a lot of the movers and shakers around here, do you really think that Ned Lamont is behind any of these bills? Because he seems to...
I do, and I'll tell you why. He has moved very far to the left. Ned Lamont, he's known in the state, always considered a moderate. I heard Carl Hibby say the other day, Ned Lamont, he protects us from the far left. Not anymore.
Yeah, that's over.
Not anymore. Now I call him Lefty Lamont. It is a very accurate description of Ned Lamont. This housing law he passed in December, the most radical housing law in the United States of America.
But do you think that the efforts to do this stuff with the vaccine bill, with the homeschooling bill, and now, of course, with the 5044 bill, do you think that this is because they're reveling in some sort of, I don't know, ability to just push anything through with the supermajority? Do they not think that any of these things have consequences?
I think the Democratic, I can see, I don't have to think it, I know. I just wrote a piece on it this week, that the Democratic Party in all the blue states is moving farther to the left under the powerful influence of the Democratic Socialists of America. They're calling many of the shots in these state legislatures.
They're doing it here in Connecticut,
yes,
it looks.
The Equity Caucus is very, very big. They're pushing for an increase in the state income tax. I'm fighting to eliminate it. They're pushing to raise the rates, right? There you have it. That's a very clear dichotomy, right? And let me tell you who's going to win that one.
Yeah.
But also, as we were discussing off air, Ned Lamont has a chief of staff who herself is a very, very left-wing advisor.
Well, himself, he's incredibly left-wing.
Right.
He's been in and out, inside politics for a long time.
Yes.
His wife, on the other hand, Lindsay Farrell, is, I guess, I think, if I have this correct in front of me, she is was the executive director of the Working Families Party.
That's very far left.
Yeah, you couldn't get more far left than that. They've been associated with being somewhat communist, even.
Yes.
And this is the guy he made his chief of staff last year after the last guy was gone.
The legislation is farther and farther left, legitimating sleeping in the rough on the street. Towns are no longer able to remove vagrants.
Let's talk about that, because that's such an interesting point about this housing bill that we have to get to in the next break. We'll break all that down, because They thought the gravity of this was they were just going to get apartment buildings in their quiet little town. What they're proposing is far worse than that.
Proposing they passed it already.
Oh, that's right. I apologize. Yes, but what's going to happen as a result of this will really turn these nice neighborhoods into, as Trump would call it, an S-hole.
And please come to Betsy2026.com. Get me on the ballot. Donate, please.
We're going to talk more with Betsy in a minute, so stand by for that. Also, we've got Kara Pavlich coming up at 4 o'clock. We'll talk to her as well about all of these controversies. It's just so much stuff to get into today. It's just amazing. Thank you for being here. We'll get back to you in a quick second. We can take a break now. Can't we, Roland? We're good? Yeah, all right. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. Betsy McCoy is here. It's Reese on the Radio.
Pressure doesn't crush champions. It creates them. On the court, UConn's AZ Fudd, Caroline Ducharme, Morgan Shelley, and Sarah Williams rise to the moment with skill, preparation, and teamwork. At BPS Lawyers, we meet pressure the same way, with confidence, discipline, and results.
Champions win together, on the court and in the courtroom.
One full-service firm, all your legal needs, always. BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Visit bpslawyers.com.
March is Connecticut Orchestra Month, and what better way to celebrate than with the Hartford Symphony for Pines of Rome, March 13th through the 15th at the Bushnell in Hartford. Under the direction of guest conductor Kalena Bovell, the orchestra presents a program of orchestral grandeur. Don't miss Ukrainian violinist and UConn professor Solomia Iakiev performing Mozart Violin Concerto No. 3. Other works include Smetana's The Bartered Bride Overture, Gabriella Lena Frank's Apu, and Respighi's Pines of Rome. For tickets, call 860-987-5900. Or visit hartfordsymphony.org.
Hi, this is Eric Hogarth, certified financial planner from Money Wisdom. Want to learn ways to minimize taxes in retirement, protect your money against inflation and healthcare expenses, and develop a personalized income plan? Call 1-800-208-SAFE to get your free guide to maximizing retirement book. That's 800-208-7233 to get your free book today.
Johnson Brunetti is a marketing name for the businesses of JB Capital and JN Financial. Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hola, amigos. Brad Evans here. Check out this booming voice and Pat Boyle on BetMGM tonight, covering the biggest sports stories from coast to coast, live and interactive on the free Odyssey app, discussing NFL offseason news and getting you ready for the madness in college hoops. BetMGM tonight with me, Brad Evans and Pat Boyle, live and interactive, Monday through Friday night, starting at 6 Eastern, presented by BetMGM. Always live on the free Odyssey app and watch on YouTube at BetMGM tonight.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 3:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We will check the WTIC Weather Center forecast coming up. A not guilty plea for a man accused in the death of his ex-girlfriend's daughter. Jonathan Anita was in court today on murder charges in the death of Jacqueline Mimi Torres Garcia. Her remains were found in a storage container in back of a New Britain home last fall. The medical examiner ruled that Mimi had been abused and starved Her mother and aunt are also charged in her death. As for Nanita, he is due back in court in May. Suspected member of the terror group MS-13 has been arrested in Connecticut. The FBI's New Haven field office says Danny Antonio Granados Garcia was picked up in Waterbury. He's wanted in El Salvador for the murder of a pastor who was the relative of a police officer. An issue involving 911 service in southeastern Connecticut has been resolved. That from the Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection. Earlier emergency calls were being rerouted to other answering points, but the department says the problem has been resolved. Iran has attacked commercial ships and targeted Dubai International Airport. Latest attacks mark an escalation in its campaign to bottle up the Persian Gulf as American and Israeli airstrikes pound the Islamic Republic. Severe weather hammering parts of the U.S. this Wednesday.
Have torn through parts of Illinois and Indiana, causing significant damage. In an area south of Chicago, downed trees and power lines are overwhelming the 911 center with emergency calls. The local county sheriff's office says a tornado struck down near the Kankakee Fairgrounds before traveling northeast into Aramo Park, where it caused extensive damage. The National Weather Service says severe storms were threatening to bring intense tornadoes, damaging winds, and very large hail from the southern plains to the southern Great Lakes. I'm Haya Panjwani.
WTIC News Time 3:32. Here's our forecast.
The clouds continuing to increase with a couple of showers, perhaps a rumble of thunder. The low temperature down to 46 overnight. Cloudy, breezy, cooler, a couple of showers tomorrow. We reach 55 degrees in the morning but fall into the upper 30s during the afternoon. Breezy tomorrow evening, otherwise clear, the low temperature 26. Cooler on Friday with increasing clouds, still a bit of a breeze, the high temperature 44. And Saturday, partly cloudy and windy, the high 47. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
All right, it's 70 right now in Hartford. Dow's down 385 points, NASDAQ's down 30, and the S&P's down 19. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and at newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Hey everyone, I'm Josh Radner, and I am so excited to tell you about How We Made Your Mother, a rewatch podcast looking back at How I Met Your Mother. And I'm here with Craig Thomas, who co-created the show along with Carter Bays. Hi, Craig.
Hey, Josh. Somehow it has been 20 years since the show premiered. I'm going to check the math on that. 10 years since it went off the air, and we thought that made this a perfect time to look back, see what the hell we did, and why the show still seems to resonate with fans around the world today.
Follow and listen to How We Made Your Mother wherever you get your podcast.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Morgan & Morgan isn't just an injury firm. It's our family's life work. It's my husband, it's my sons, it's me. When we take a case, we see a family just like ours. $30 billion recovered is something I'm proud of. But what I'm really proud of are the families we stood beside. It's an honor to fight for you when you need our support the most. Morgan & Morgan, for the people and your family.
Herbie Fisher. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Software stocks have been under pressure from rising AI competition. OpenAI unveiled Frontier, a new enterprise platform intended to mesh different systems and data so companies can more easily build and manage AI agents. OpenAI says enterprise customers make up 40% of its business. Rival Anthropic also announced a new AI automation tool for businesses, including legal services. I'm Jason Brooks.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441. 800-939-1441.
I'm CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger with your 2026 tax tips. Guess what? Getting a tax refund may not be the best thing. I know it's a great feeling to get a big fat check from the government, especially since it's usually us, the taxpayers, that are handing the money over to Uncle Sam. But keep this in mind. Getting that check from your favorite uncle, it's really just a return of an interest-free loan that you extended to the government. Instead of being so generous, adjust your withholding and capture the extra money by boosting your retirement contributions that automatically get deducted from your paycheck. And if you're really disciplined, another option for capturing the money is to set up automatic withdrawals from your bank account to your brokerage account or an IRA.
Tax season can be overwhelming, but UHY makes it simple. Our professionals provide comprehensive tax advisory services to help individuals and businesses stay compliant and save money. Call our Farmington office at 860-530-6949 or visit farmingtoncpa.com.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission, $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
Larry Older here. Let me share Brian's story from Alabama, my mom's home state. He tells us after taking Relief Factor for just 3 weeks, at least 90% of my pain is gone. My pain had started to limit me at work and at home, and now I'm amazed at how much relief I've gotten, end of quote. These are Brian's own words, and they speak volumes about what Relief Factor can do for you. I've told you about my buddy Tom, an avid golfer out on the green almost every single day. He says without Relief Factor, he wouldn't be able to swing freely because of shoulder pain or back pain. But since taking it, he said he stayed active, comfortable, and confident in his swing. He is a scratch golfer. That's why I encourage you to try Relief Factor yourself and see what it can do for you. Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. 800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF, or go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, ReliefFactor.com.
Listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the free Odyssey app. Download and like WTIC today for alerts on special programming.
All right, we're back, and we are here with gubernatorial candidate, of course, on the Republican side. Betsy McCoy is here, and I love your energy. You know I do. You and I have the same approach towards everything. Kick the door open, and if you can't do that, blow it up. Which, in essence,
absolutely,
it's an energy thing. It just is.
And by the way, I'm not just running for Republicans. Of course, I'm seeking the Republican nomination. But I'm running for everybody in Connecticut. For example, I am going to make Ned Lamont's housing law a dead letter my first day in office. 68% of Connecticut households own their own home, and many more would aspire to, right?
Right, sure.
So that's a lot more than the Republican nomination registration. I'm fighting for all those homeowners against a law that will lower the value of your home, push up your property taxes, and tell you to go yourself because we're going to put a trailer park or a big apartment building next door to your lovely single-family home.
You know, you said something about this that has made it so incredible. San Francisco, the sort of Tenderloin district, many years ago had a map or an app that you can download, and it was not the most favorable app that you could download. It was called like a poop map, which in essence gave people the opportunity. In fact, I had a caller here. In fact, Simsbury Joe told me a story about a relative that he has where a person was allowed to sleep in front of his home and to defecate in front of his home no matter what. This app that was in San Francisco in the Tenderloin area was pretty much allowing people, it was warning people where to go where there would be a lot of human feces. What we found out about this bill, this housing bill that was passed.
Law. It's
law,
a law
yeah,
now,
true. Yeah, it's a law.
it Californicates Connecticut. It says our lovely towns cannot push out vagrants. They cannot make them unwelcome to sleep in the town park. Never mind if you like to give your kids $5 and tell them to walk around town and go into the park. You can't do that anymore because homeless people who choose to live in the rough, live on the street, live in the parks, they're dangerous. I'm not saying that from a lack of compassion. I know it's true. The Cicero Institute shows that 41% of the people who live outside in the rough in Connecticut are registered sex offenders.
Damn.
Do you want to send your kids into town to walk by those tents, to walk by those homeless encampments? No. The fact is, it is very dangerous. It is naive and foolish to legitimate this lifestyle. And that's exactly what Lefty Lamont's housing law does. It bars individual towns from hostile architecture. I don't know if you've ever heard that term.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a term devised by the Coalition for the Homeless, this national left-wing organization. It means you cannot have a park bench with a divider in the middle or arms on the side because it's too hard to sleep overnight on it. Oh, yeah. You cannot discourage vagrancy. And there's a new bill going through the legislature now that will bar towns from fining people from urinating and defecating in public on the street. Just what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's again, and I don't think I've ever talked to a homeless person who said, you know, I would really, really love to be homeless in a nicer town. I never thought of that. I never even heard one person do it. Why would they allow, this is insanity.
Well,
is it because they're trying to actually destroy these neighborhoods?
All the urban problems to be evenly distributed around the state, right? Instead of saying, we will not permit people to live outside in our common areas. We will provide shelters, right? We will provide other means of housing, but living in the rough is not permitted. And the United States Supreme Court in Grants Pass 2 years ago ruled that towns have that authority. We do not have to accept living in the rough as a legitimate lifestyle because it threatens the civility of everybody.
Yeah. This is, I don't know how to take this because maybe I am being too rational here. Is that here we have a guy who is running for re-election in Ned Lamont. All of these bills and laws are radical. I mean, they're way out of mainstream, okay? And I'm saying that not even for, I mean, I understand that there are organizations like Indivisible. I know the Open Society groups. I know the DSAs, the Democratic Socialists of Americas. They all applaud this craziness. But it is completely out of the mainstream for even left of center folks because they would see their lives become very dangerous under these circumstances. So, is it me or is this guy trying not to be reelected? Unless he thinks the Democrats really want this.
I can only look at the evidence. I can only look at the evidence. I never cast aspersions on people personally, but I call him Lefty Lamont for a reason. He is no longer a moderate. Choosing Lefty Lamont is a very radical choice.
They have. Do you think they not get it? Because I'll tell you this. I saw the polling data recently, and I'll never forget it. It was just around Christmas time. I read an article that said, no, actually, I'm sorry, I apologize. In the new year, there was an article that said that Lamont was the fourth highest rated governor in the country at 63%. And then I was looking at some new polling data, and in 2 months, it dropped all the way to 47 after these bills and these laws were passed. So in my head, I'm going, what? Go more left, Ned. I mean, I'm pretty sure that this is not working for you. Just go more. I don't understand this, Betsy, and you've been a lieutenant governor. You're in this space, I would say, deeper than I've ever been. Give me some rationale here. Do you ever...
Well, you mentioned off the air that you had heard there were times when Ned Lamont has cognitive deficiencies.
Yes. There are a lot of people who have talked about this. And and a lot of people have told me that there had been an open secret about this. And I don't want to put the guy out there and just like how to disprove a negative, but I'm starting to wonder as I'm looking at the members of his group, Matthew Brockman, his wife, who is
He's
obviously
not making his own decisions.
that he's not making his own decisions. This again, not for a guy. Look, I know you can't hear it, but I have to play this audio again because I played it a little while ago. I'm just gonna play it. Here's Lamont speaking to Bloomberg about this very thing, about him being a moderate and not being enough space for him. I want to play this.
Governor, it seems like for both parties, perhaps, the extreme right, the extreme left seems to be driving the politics for each of those parties. Is there even a center left for either party or both parties?
It's getting smaller because I'm there, and you're right. I think after Donald Trump's election, the Republicans are a lot less likely to want to talk to me. I always had a big table and an open door, and a lot of people looked at me and said, "God, it looks a little like a Republican." And the Democrats are sort of really fighting Trump every day, and if you don't go after him on a daily basis, you're sort of being weak in terms of your principles. So you're right, the middle's getting very small, and that's not a good thing for America.
So he says the middle is getting very small. Immediately after that, this guy starts incorporating some of the wildest leftist things I've ever heard of. And I'm going, this guy was just saying that he was a moderate. He was saying that how his space is
not a moderate anymore.
Yeah, I think it's over.
That's right. He is not a moderate anymore. The Democratic Party in Connecticut is being taken over by the far left, the Equity Caucus, and he is succumbing, kowtowing to those far left influences.
Do you think the Mamdani thing played a role? Because that was because you have an establishment guy like Andrew Cuomo who loses handedly to a Mamdani.
But Andrew Cuomo was a very, very defective candidate.
Agreed.
He had been subject to impeachment.
Sure.
Accused of many sexual improprieties.
Mm-hmm.
He's not your average mainstream Democrat. He was a very defective candidate.
Right.
And I don't think that Mamdani could have won in New York against a strong candidate. But he carried it away because there was no strong candidate on the Democratic side.
Indeed. At least not a formidable
That's right.
sort of opposition.
But now the voters have spoken, and as Ed Koch said 30 years ago, the voters will be punished.
Yeah.
And they are definitely being punished in New York.
Well,
and Connecticut, take heed.
Yeah, but that's my thing, is that I talked to Josh Elliott about this as well. I mean, even before he was on my program last week, I said to him, I asked him right out, I said, will you be following Mamdani's sort of template if indeed he won? He said, I don't know, we'll see. Which to me, it just said, I mean, it's an interesting point, right?
That's dangerous.
It's like, we'll see. Yeah.
That's like something different. A little too vague for me.
Yeah, exactly. I just thought it was weird because Mamdani is sort of, and I think that people have even acknowledged it outright to say that Mamdani's election for them was sort of a permission slip.
Yes.
And I think that that's the case for his chief of staff, Lamont's we're talking about, Lamont's chief of staff and Democrats writ large.
Well, and look at what's happening in states like Washington State, Illinois, Massachusetts. They're all going for the tax the millionaires. They're all going for the very radical income tax programs that are going to leave those states economic wastelands.
Yeah.
Starbucks is moving out of the state of Washington.
Just heard it today.
Literally. These states, and what's so pathetic about it, tragic I would say, is that the people who can't leave are the ones who need a job the most.
Yeah. And it would be the ones who foot the bill.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you...
The least mobile are the victims of this, because when they raise the rates in these states, the companies move, the executives move.
And someone's got to be taxed. And who's ever left, those will be the ones bearing the brunt of it.
And they also lose any economic opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, the poor will be taken care of, but in a less equitable way, because the people who will fund it will not be that wealthy either.
No, absolutely not.
Because
and that's
they can't
exactly
go.
what's happening to Connecticut.
Yeah, this is 100% right. Betsy, it is always a pleasure to have you here. Again, Betsy2026.com. I can't wait. April 30th is our date that we're going to have our debate. And
I'm very excited about that. And remember, folks, axe the tax. Axe the tax. It's tax time now. Think how much more pleasant that time of year will be when you're not paying the state income tax anymore, when we make Connecticut the tax haven of the Northeast, Florida without the palm trees.
Yeah, I hear you, without a doubt.
Right.
Betsy McCoy, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back. We'll take a break and return. It's Reese on the Radio.
A Social Security update. 70 million Americans collect Social Security benefits today, and millions more will join soon. Now, a new study finds 70% of Americans don't get the full benefits they deserve. But recipients can use simple strategies to boost Social Security benefits by as much as $188,000 over a lifetime. Social Security expert Michael Allen says it's true and reveals 5 key strategies to increase your benefits. It's all in his free special report. Newsmax calls the report your best guide for bigger Social Security benefits. Whether you're getting benefits or soon will, you need the Social Security report. Get it free. Call 800-999-9690. 800-999-9690. We'll text it to you right away, along with President Trump's act cutting your Social Security taxes. Call now, 800-999-9690. 800-999-9690. Text and data rates may apply.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441. 800-939-1441.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080. It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I have all of these guests here, and I have to keep changing all of the titles on this screen. I need an assistant. I would hire.
How much does it pay?
$0. It's
I
an intern.
already do it for free. So.
Yeah, there you go. Roseanna's back here. Betsy's always a lot of fun, and she's fiery as all get out. Yes, there is equal time for Stuart and Fazio. If you want to come on, you're always invited. You guys know that. Beyond the shadow of a doubt. Lamont, you can come in too.
If he remembers.
That's not nice. He can come in whenever he wants. We'd love to have him. I want to read this. Peter said something interesting about what you brought up. Peter said, everything that needed to be said about this issue was said when you described all the kids in the room not on devices but reading books. Case closed.
Yeah.
And Peter, Dad, you're 100% right, because that was an interesting thing that I saw. You didn't really recognize it in the sense of, like, it was so broadly, sort of telegraphed.
I think people are accustomed to when you see kids like
Yes.
this, you assume that there is a device in their hands. I'm a bibliophile. I love books. I collect books. I prefer, hard-covered books. I love the smell of them. I love the feel. I love books, right? And so when I saw people walking in and I saw kids with books and parents, with younger kids, and moms are holding books and turning pages for the little kids, just look at the pictures.
Yeah.
That's what caught my attention.
The one kid, when you were inside the viewing room, I went out to go get some B-roll of just the people who were downstairs because there was massive crowds down there. As I walked to the escalator, there was one little boy, had to be about 4 years old. He was on the floor, like a kid would be on the floor, and was on his stomach with a little notepad writing.
Yeah.
With a pencil. And I walked past it and I just went, there's no desks here, but he just wanted to write. And there he was writing his book. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I just walked past him, but not realizing, you're so right. That's what these kids were doing, writing, holding signs.
I bet you if you put a 4-year-old with an iPad and a 4-year-old with a pen and paper next to one another, the kid with the pen and paper is going to be far more intellectually advanced than the kid with the iPad.
Mm-hmm.
Studies are showing that there's brain shrinkage already. There's white matter loss in kids that are using tablets and cell phones, whereas kids with pen, paper, a book have far more folds and wrinkles in the brain.
Like I said, this all of these issues are just interesting.
Operation Beige Baby. I'm just putting it out there.
No, it's not going to happen. I want to just make this clear. So, I have these people on the left who always send me text messages, and I'm very encouraged by them writing to me. But I know, because of what they write, how afraid they are of where we are as a state. They are nervous about where we are, because all they can talk about is Republicans. And as soon as you ask them about the state of the Democrat Party in Connecticut and what they're pushing, they immediately change the subject. So I know that there is a sea change that is happening. And it's not, again, the homeschooling thing is just the tip of the iceberg. This is going to be far more than that with everything. And I think that there may be an attitude, if you will, that says, you know what, we're a supermajority. We can do anything we want.
They're proving it right now. They've already got that mindset.
And that mindset is, I kind of think that's going to be its undoing.
It's destroying every fabric of this nation. If we like I said it before, is the kids, you guys have had it long enough. You've shown that you are incapable of making good decisions. Sit down and let the grown-ups work now.
Yeah, I think
we have work to do.
Yep.
There are things that need to be set straight. We have to clean up a lot of messes, and it's okay. Mommy's not mad, but just sit down quietly and let us fix it.
When we come back, Kara Pavelak D'Amato is here. We'll talk to her in a quick second. Stand by. Here's Mark Christopher. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese. Good afternoon. If you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91 a little tight. 36 down to 35 again. 33 down to 32 A and B. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge up to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound tight. About a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 eastbound's a little slow at the Bissell Bridge. 9 northbound type in Middletown Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound Cheshire slowing 26 up to 25A in Waterbury. Good ride 91 of the Parkway toward New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clouds will continue to roll in with a shower in spots, especially tonight and early tomorrow. The low temperature down to 46. It will be breezy and cooler with a couple of showers tomorrow. The high temperature initially about 55 degrees, but falling into the upper 30s during the day. Tomorrow night it'll be breezy in the evening, otherwise clear with a low temperature of 26. Once we get into Friday, it'll be cooler, it'll be breezy, but we will have increasing clouds with a high temperature of 44. Saturday will be partly cloudy and windy. Those west wind 12 to 25 with gusts 40 to 45 miles an hour, the high temperature reaching 47. And on Sunday, cloudy with a high of 40. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Mystic, Hamden, Putnam. When you want local news, turn to WTIC News Talk 1080, reporting on the local stories that affect you. From Manchester to Mystic, Hartford to Hampton, and Putnam to Plymouth, one radio station has your local news and breaking news as it happens. WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen on your radio, smart speaker, and on your phone with the free Odyssey app. This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Hundreds of Connecticut residents and their children are at the state capitol to mostly oppose a couple of key bills in public hearings. One of them, an effort to maintain vaccine standards that are facing federal pushback. More from WTIC's Dave Mager.
The CDC under Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has reduced the number of recommended childhood vaccines. This bill would require the state to operate under previous federal guidance. Bill sponsors say it presents no new mandates, but opponents like Amy Maroka of East Hampton are concerned. Generally, you're against mandates?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm against vaccines.
You have 2 kids. Are they vaccinated?
Never. It's a hill I'll die on.
Democrats, like State Rep Matt Blumenthal, say the bill is about maintaining vaccine coverage in the face of CDC backtracking.
Folks can have confidence that their kids are going to be in schools where there's herd immunity, where their kids are safe.
Under the bill, the state public health commissioner would set the recommended vaccine schedule, not the feds. At the state capitol, Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
Also at the Capitol today, members of the legislature's Judiciary Committee heard testimony on a bill that would prohibit the sale and importation of so-called convertible guns. Those are firearms that are doctored to operate much like machine guns or automatic weapons. Supporters of the measure, like David Pacino, say the bill doesn't single out gun owners who follow the law.
This bill is intended to update definitions under Connecticut law. It's not meant to antagonize or to burden any law-abiding gun owners in the state of Connecticut. It's an attempt to address some loopholes that are being exploited.
But Chris Patel of East Hampton says the bill's intent doesn't correlate with how it would be enforced.
The Glock is one of the greatest pistols ever created. Therefore, a lawsuit against Glock would be frivolous and should not be allowed because you're suing an action taken by a person, not the function of the device itself.
President Trump's praising the U.S. military success in the ongoing war in Iran.
The president says Iran has suffered tremendous losses.
They've lost their Navy, they've lost their Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft apparatus at all, they have no radar, their leaders are gone.
Speaking to reporters on the south lawn of the White House, the president added the U.S. could inflict even more damage.
We're leaving certain things that if we take them out, or we could take them out by this afternoon, in fact, within an hour.
Trump also promised what he called great safety for oil tankers passing through the Strait of Hormuz, even as Iran tries to shut down that vital thoroughfare. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Price of gasoline and oil has been steadily rising since the war began.
AAA says the national average for a gallon of regular is $3.58. That's up nearly 60 cents since the war started. Rideshare passengers are feeling the pinch.
The Uber rides, it was like a little bit on the expensive side.
If I do Uber the entire time, it's going to be costly because obviously it's all about supply and demand.
Correspondent Jennifer Kuiper with that report. A suspected member of the violent MS-13 foreign terrorist organization has been apprehended in Waterbury. The FBI's New Haven field office says Danny Antonio Granados Garcia was identified as a fugitive from El Salvador at the time of his arrest. Granados Garcia is wanted for murder of a pastor who was also the relative of a police officer in El Salvador. He was taken into custody without incident and has since been turned over to ICE. From there, Granados Garcia will be extradited back to El Salvador to face charges. And the British government has released more files on former Ambassador Peter Mandelson's ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Correspondent Michael Wallace.
One of the documents released today shows Prime Minister Keir Starmer was warned in December of 2024 that there was a reputational risk to appointing Mandelson as the U.S. ambassador. Starmer is taking a lot of heat for giving Mandelson the job anyway. Starmer fired Mandelson last September after learning Mandelson had maintained contact with Epstein, even after Epstein's 2008 conviction for soliciting a minor for prostitution.
Wall Street, the Dow down 289 points, NASDAQ up 19, S&P down 5. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News.
Low testosterone can be a real problem for many men. It causes poor sleep patterns, decreased energy, brain fog, low sex drive, and it makes it tough to stay in shape. And as we all know, a healthy body is important to our overall health and well-being. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if some or all of those symptoms sound like you, we can likely help you be done with low T. But more than this, we can also help you lose weight, support your metabolism, improve your gains in the gym, and more with our new targeted body composition plans featuring GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1, and more. Our low T protocols, applied in conjunction with our body composition plans, will help most men see real improvements, true weight loss, higher energy, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or visit northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you.
Future therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, this is usually where we do the weird intro where we talk to our guests for a couple of minutes and then we immediately interrupt them to go to traffic and weather. So in the house today is Cara Pavelok D'Amato. And I was having a difficult time pronouncing Pavelok. That is what was that derived from? It is Polish. I thought it was. I knew I should have trusted my instinct. But D'Amato is clearly Italian.
It is.
It
yes.
is. Husband Italian?
Yes, although I'm more Italian than he is. So
Are you?
I remind him all the time.
Sort of by trade, right? Like sort of like by guff, so to speak.
He's got the boxing gloves hanging from his rearview mirror, so I guess that qualifies him to be more Italian than I am.
Yeah. Now, just help me if I'm right here or if I'm wrong. I'm almost certain. Your husband is a part of the construction dynasty in town, the D'Amatos. You guys are everywhere.
Correct. Yes, the light blue trucks.
Yeah, I mean everywhere. Like you guys are everywhere.
Stay busy.
Where you stay busy. Your husband's capacity there is just employee, worker, heir, what?
Yeah, kind of everything.
Everything.
Yeah, as I think his father is getting older and his grandfather is now retired. Now it's being passed down. So a bigger role all the time, and they do a lot of the school construction stuff.
Well, that's great. Well, you guys are, I mean, everyone talks about you, and I mean in glowing ways, not in a bad way. With the exception of the recent controversies with your jacket, which we will get into. I know it's been far removed since the incident took place, but we've got other issues to deal with, of course, with all of those hearings that went on today. I want to get your take on that and talk to you a little bit about the state of the Republican Party here in Connecticut, because I think it prompted you to do what you did with that Ice-In jacket. So I know your frustration is clear, so I want to share that with the audience, okay?
Thank you.
All right, stand by. As I said, Cara Pavelok D'Amato is here. I'm going to let it flow off the tongue eventually. Mark Christopher's here as well. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon. If you're heading 84 eastbound, look out for an accident on the Hartford West Hartford line. It's just after 44 Prospect Oakwood. Partial left lane is blocked with that, so delays 44 up into the tunnel right now. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 46 Sisson Avenue. Southbound 91 got delays. Hartford approaching 33 down to 32 A and B. If you're traveling northbound Route 9 into Middletown, slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge, 84 eastbound in Cheshire, sluggish traffic 26 down to the 691 interchange. Also westbound 84, you've got delays approaching 26 in Cheshire up to exit 25 in Waterbury. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Right now, we are tracking a couple of showers near Poughkeepsie that will move east and bring a shower into Hartford later this afternoon. There can be a rumble of thunder as well, up to 63 to 66 degrees. A couple of showers overnight, the low temperature 46. Cloudy, breezy, cooler, a couple of showers tomorrow. We start out 55, we end up in the upper 30s. Temperatures come crashing down tomorrow. Breezy tomorrow evening, otherwise clear, the low temperature 26. Increasing clouds but cooler on Friday, a bit of a breeze, the high temperature 44. Partly cloudy, windy on Saturday, the high temperature only 47 degrees.
Right now, we have a temperature of 66 in Plainville, 65 degrees in South Windsor, and 66 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hi, this is Eric Hogarth with Money Wisdom. Last year, inflation was a concern we were all concerned about. Question this year, should it still be? Tune in this Saturday at 8:30 a.m. right here on WTIC News Talk 1080, and let's talk.
Each week, Attorney Allaire shares special practice advice and expert insights to help navigate the complexities of elder law.
Brian Jackman here for Serta Pro Painters. Listen, I had an incredible experience with them. They gave me a great estimate. They were there on time, and when they came to paint our kitchen, they were in and out, and when they were gone, it was like they were never there, except they left a beautiful kitchen. Maybe it's time for you to take a look at their spring sales event. You can get 10% off qualifying projects through May the 15th. Serta Pro Painters, they're independently owned and operated right here in our community, so you might want to give them a call. Start spring off right. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Serta with a C.
If you love sports, this is the show for you. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos. Weekday mornings 9 to noon Eastern on the free Odyssey app and YouTube at The Costos. Bringing you the biggest NFL news, guests, and notes from the offseason while getting you ready to win the madness of college hoops. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos. Live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. Presented by BetMGM. Download the Odyssey app and listen from anywhere for sports talk from people who love sports.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. Odyssey has news that hits home in your local area and around the country. Get local news, traffic, and weather from stations near you. Get national news from CNN, Fox News Radio, and more. And explore the biggest news podcasts like The Daily Punch, Pod Save America, and The Daily, AUDACY. Find all the news that matters to you in a universe of audio. Odyssey.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. It's Reese on the Radio right here with Cara Pavelak D'Amato. See, I was sitting there rehearsing it in my head. Finally got it. Cara, let's get to the thing that you originally were supposed to be here for, but then you had that incident that you had to deal with. It is finally, thank God, I'm so happy for you that incident is fixed. I didn't want to put any of your business out on the street, so I never told anybody.
It's okay.
So I'm glad that it was resolved, and you got everything back, by the way, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. You are here because you got a lot of controversy with the ice-in jacket you wore in session, and I guess it was during a debate about ice.
It was actually opening day.
Okay.
So,
yes, it was opening day. Yes.
So no debate here.
Okay.
It was just the governor was giving his speech.
Right.
And even without somebody telling me, I knew what was going to happen.
Right.
It doesn't take a genius to know that he's going to bring it up. It's the hottest topic politically right now. So I knew he was going to bring it up. Mm-hmm. And I know their stance because they brought up bills in the past. There's more bills this year. Mm-hmm. And so sure enough, without fail, he started to talk about it at the end. And, it's on a jacket, which, by the way, wasn't the first time I had ever worn something. I had worn a MAGA jacket in the past, a MAGA dress. Oh, yeah, it wasn't the first time. Other people that day had pins. They had ice out pins.
Right.
They're going to wear
those. Did they have the expletive ice thing?
I don't think so, but I don't know. I didn't see them because they're so small.
Right.
So
other people had shown political expressions on their clothing.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And so I put the jacket, had the jacket on. I was told to take it off, and I said, I am not taking this off. You're going to have to rip it off my dead body.
My wife was outraged at one of the, I think the person who had said, yes, do you understand me, young lady, or something along that line. I have no idea who the person was who said that in the chamber, but it was someone who was directing, I guess, who was talking about decorum in the building. And I can't remember who it was.
Was it a male?
Man,
okay,
it was a man.
Maybe it was then the speaker talked to the chamber the next day about.
Yes, it was the next day. Exactly.
I wasn't in the chamber, so it didn't really matter.
So he didn't say it to you.
And I respect the speaker, right? I respect the House rules, to which I always read, before every session, and even though they're given to us that day.
Right.
But, the next day he was supposedly speaking to everybody, so fine. But, I didn't hear that part, because I did hear most of it. I didn't hear that part. I'll have to re-listen to it.
Yeah.
But again, for me, it's just not going to faze me. Didn't apologize. I'm not going to, and I'm going to stand by it, and we'll see what happens down the road, too.
What is your issue with this as it pertains to ICE and the way in which people in the legislature, the governor, mayors across this state have been attacking ICE agents and that job? Why did you take a personal affront to the way that's happening?
Well, my first husband was from Venezuela, and we went through this process legally. It took about a year. During most of that time, he actually had to go back. He was, I believe, in Aruba at the time. Well, that's where we met. I lived in Aruba. And so he went back to Venezuela or Aruba, and we had to go through that process. And for me, the exception to legal immigration is when you are an asylum seeker, right? So that's the exception. Otherwise, everybody needs to go through the legal process.
Right.
There's safety concerns, background checks. They need to financially be able to support themselves.
Very important
or have
role.
have a skill that their employer vouches for. So there's a reason we do that, and we've seen the result. You can go to the government website and other ones to see these mugshots of individuals who are here illegally, child traffickers, and then abuse. I mean, it's all over the place, and we see it in our court systems too. It's completely out of control, and I want to be safe. I want my child to be safe.
The part that I don't seem to understand, that just to get sort of in the weeds a little bit about what you said, is what bothers me the most is the separation inside our news media that in one breath echoes the sentiment of the John Larsons who screams at ICE calling them the SS, and then the same day reporting about traffickers who were arrested in our court system, who were caught by ICE, if not police officers, whatever the case is, they are caught by law enforcement doing some of the heinous stuff, and never the two shall meet. Like, if I'm a cameraman and a reporter talking to John Larson, who is screaming about, this isn't the SS, and then I know I have a story about a guy who was just caught trafficking minors to the tune of 12 to 15-year-olds, and I don't stop John Larson and say, hey, what about this guy? That's the part that I don't understand, the divide. Does that frustrate you or the legislature at all?
That is a common theme, not only with the media, but with you gave John Larson as a great example. I like him as a person, but he brought somebody from Bristol who it was a different situation, right? And that's the other thing that bothers me. Whenever I see these stories in the media, it's always somebody was arrested. Look, I'm sure there are mistakes that happen, but every story that I've seen is somebody who is breaking the law, and they don't seem to mention that. They think there's no problem with that.
Yeah.
And John Larson brought somebody whose appointment to, I believe, for their citizenship ceremony had gotten deferred, canceled, postponed, and yet he's got somebody in Bristol that he could have brought up, a woman I know whose father was murdered by an illegal alien down in Florida. Now, why not bring her up? Yeah. No, he brings this other person who, again, is somebody with a green card, right? And somebody who's a citizen. It's not an issue they face.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, again, there hasn't been mistakes. I'm sure there have, right? And that's just in life across the board. But when you're talking about the majority of individuals who in that situation are here illegally. They overstayed their visa. That is called an illegal alien, period.
Why, with all of this that is happening, and we're watching it right here in the state of Connecticut, and I know that the people of Connecticut have become frustrated with the constant drumming of more and more people being arrested for heinous stuff. Why do you believe that it's not resonating with the supermajority? Is it because they're a supermajority and they're just not held accountable to that? And why do you think that is, if anything?
As in the supermajority of the legislature?
Yeah, of the legislature, yeah.
They're in the supermajority. They have, when I first got in, we were 4 seats short in the legislature, and that has grown over time.
Sure.
And that's frustrating for me, but they definitely don't have any accountability when it comes to checks and balances. I remember a rep years ago who replied to somebody's email when it came to removing the religious exemption for vaccines, and said, we're in the majority, we can do whatever we want.
Wow.
And that was the response to his constituent. Look, there are things that they do all the time. They just had an emergency bill.
Yeah.
No emergency whatsoever. And I heard they're going to do it again. Why? I mean,
is it to pass any of these things that were being debated today?
I don't know. I don't know the specifics, but I do know that an emergency bill doesn't go through the public hearing process, doesn't go through the committee process. But I'll also say that they use that. They also use the implementer, the budget implementer, to pass bills that maybe don't pass out of committee, that maybe passed and just are still hanging there and not making it to the floor of the House. They can do anything they want, and that's what they do. They don't go through the legislative process, which is what this country is based on.
We're here live with Cara Pavelak D'Amato, representative of the 77th District in Bristol. And we have right now the federal government who is fighting for the voter rolls of the state of Connecticut. Has anybody asked you your opinion about this? And if not, what is your opinion?
As in what about the voter rolls? As in getting those numbers. The federal government wants to know who's on the voter roll, so we can find out whether or not there are any people who are on the voter rolls who are not supposed to be there. There's a follow-up to this. There's a reason why I'm asking you this. Do you have an opinion on that? Have you even been following that? I have somewhat. I am aware that we have not provided the information that's been asked for.
It's being fought by William Tong.
Right. And, of course, we keep giving money to him and his department to bring lawsuit after lawsuit. And I believe I think there's a bill that would exclude ballots from any FOIA requests and some other information as well. Again, goes back to the other points I was bringing up as far as secret, right? Not going through the legislative process, trying to hide things. And why? This is an open process. It's an open government. When you, on election day, when the person is looking at all the ballots counting, people have a right to be there. It's not a secret process.
Exactly.
That's not what our government, that's not what our founders created, and that's not what this whole country is based on. And they just, little by little, chip by chip, keep hiding things, keep changing definitions, and really, it's, what are you hiding?
And that's the part that I don't seem to understand that's going on here in Connecticut, is that any fair-minded person, no matter what your political stripe is, if you have a government that is keeping things from its, I guess, voters, if not just its constituents writ large, if you are doing things and you're doing it openly to keep the public from engaging, as you said, like the FOIA request isn't for the federal government, it's for you and I. If we wish to know who's in the voter rolls, if I wish to find out whether or not this vote was illegal, I can't even petition my government to find out if something is on the up and up. They are making that process harder for me to do that if I believe that there's something suspicious going on. Why wouldn't anyone make an issue with that, no matter what you are? I mean, I would think that would be an issue for a Democrat as well as a Republican, is my point.
Right. Well, that's, again, the same as that emergency bill. You have the No Kings people who are there saying, no kings, and then the next day when they do an emergency bill, no problem. It's the same with the voter rolls and all that information. You would think, open process, right? That's no kings, but yet all the actions up there are the direct opposite. And I can't explain it because I'm not doing it. But the other thing that bothers me is we constantly, let's say, they're not providing that information, right? So then a lot of times there are financial consequences that we as a state that happened to us, right? Money taken away. So then it turns into, oh, the government's taking money away from us, and they're just punishing us for no reason, and then it's victim play all over again on another level, and it's just they just play up the TDS left and right. It's amazing.
You are a MAGA mom, I presume.
I'm an America First mom.
I got
right?
you. I hear you.
So and yes, I respect my president and I support my president for sure. But I am definitely a MAGA mom. Make America great over and over again.
I'm going to ask you this when we get on the other side of it. Roseanne had a great question about people making a much to do about ICE at the polling places. Has anyone talked to you about this at all? If they have addressed you about this at all?
I have heard of the bill, but nothing surprises me because they just make it up as they go along.
I know a listener who is on the left actually said that to me and said that Trump is trying to disrupt the elections by having ICE there. And he doesn't even understand the basis or even the most basic response to that. Why would you be concerned? And I've asked this over and over again. The concern is what? And I would look at this. Look, if Donald Trump put ICE at a polling place, let's say he was doing this, if it wasn't just hyperbole, but if he was doing this, defiantly, I would if I never went to an election again, I would bring my legitimate American behind down to the polling place to vote in spite of him. If anything, it should encourage people to show up at the polling places.
Well, it's if illegals aren't voting, right, which they insist they're not, okay, all right, then I guess they're just standing there wasting their time. So wouldn't they be happy that they were standing there wasting their time, right?
You know what? Again, this is how insane it is, because the bottom line is everything that Donald Trump has done, they believe encourages people to come out even more, right? They say they hate him so much, and this encourages the nationwide protest, right? And there are millions and millions of people who are coming out because they are responding to everything that Donald Trump does, and they are trying to to fight for democracy. Right. Well, if Donald Trump puts ICE agents, then that would, if I'm standing there on the left, I'm going, that would encourage me to exercise my civic duty by showing up.
You're talking rationally, and that's what you have to throw out the window. Okay, give that up. That has no place here. So you just can't explain things, and none of it a lot of times makes sense. But we can walk through. We can have these hearings. We can try to talk rationally. And at the end of the day, when it comes to the floor of the House, and I assure you that half the people aren't even in the room. Okay, they're not listening to the debate anyways. They're just going to vote the way they're told. Yeah. And so it's frustrating. And I tell people over and over, it comes down to elections every time. What's happening now is it's past the point. Focus on November, because that's what's important.
You think we got a shot this November?
For
governor, at least.
Realistically, I want to be positive, and yes, I hope so. But I think in this state, it's very difficult. And I think having a primary doesn't necessarily help.
Okay.
And I think we really need to band together like they do. And until we do that, and drag people out, right? Get people, hey, you have to, even if you hate this person, I don't care. Aaron's this, that, or Ryan's this, that's fine. But just come out. Because really, in the past, when you see some of the numbers, it really did make a difference.
It would have. We'll take a break. Let's get some weather and traffic in here. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. We are live with Kara Pavelok D'Amato. We'll continue with her on the other side. Hey, Mark.
Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon. If you're heading into Hartford right now, eastbound side of 84 slowing, about a mile before 46th Avenue to the Bulkley. East of the river looks good. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 46th Avenue. Southbound 91 delays Hartford 33 down to 32 A and B. A little slow again in Meriden, 19 down to 17. If you are traveling 291, 384, that looks good east of the river. Middletown 9 northbound delays Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound again, a little slow getting by 32 up to 34 in Berlin. 84 eastbound Cheshire, sluggish 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 in Waterbury slowing 25A up to 25. 95 South New Haven slows from 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by NJM Insurance Group.
If you dread dealing with your insurance more than getting stuck in an elevator with an overshare, bean burrito for lunch.
You have Insuranoia. You should have NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
WTIC weather.
Clouds will continue to roll in with a shower in spots, especially tonight and early tomorrow. The low temperature down to 46. It will be breezy and cooler with a couple of showers tomorrow. The high temperature initially about 55 degrees, but falling into the upper 30s during the day. Tomorrow night it'll be breezy in the evening, otherwise clear with a low temperature of 26. Once we get into Friday, it'll be cooler, it'll be breezy, but we will have increasing clouds with a high temperature of 44. Saturday will be partly cloudy and windy. There's west wind 12 to 25 with gusts 40 to 45 miles an hour, the high temperature reaching 47. And on Sunday, cloudy with a high of 40. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 4:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva. Several public hearings at the state capitol have brought out throngs of folks today. The Public Health Committee hearing testimony on changes at the CDC when it comes to vaccine recommendations. Also, the Education Committee's hearing from the public on homeschooling after two high-profile cases in New Britain and Waterbury last year. And the Judiciary Committee is considering a bill that would ban so-called convertible guns. In New Haven, police are investigating a stabbing this morning. Officers were called to the 10 block of Hazel Street. Victim sustained a serious stab wound to the arm. He was rushed to Yale New Haven with what were initially life-threatening injuries, but the person is now stable, and that search for suspects continues. Also in New Haven, police have released the name of a woman whose body was found in a park earlier this week. 59-year-old Cynthia Chamberlain was found under a tree line near a fence on Halleck Street. Police didn't indicate an exact cause of death, but say the autopsy determined there were no signs of trauma on Chamberlain's body. Man accused in the death of a girl whose remains were found last fall in New Britain was in court today. Jonathan Anita. The defense team entered a not guilty plea. Jacqueline Mimi Torres Garcia's remains were found in a storage container in back of a New Britain home last fall. Nanita and Mimi's mother are facing murder charges. The girl's aunt is also charged for her alleged part in her niece's death. Nanita returns to court in May. While in Cincinnati, touring a pharmaceutical plant, President Trump sang the praises of the U.S. military in the campaign against Iran.
We did a little excursion. We had to take this little few weeks of excursion, but it's been incredible. Our military is unbelievable, the job they're doing. I would say, to put it mildly, way ahead of schedule. We've knocked out their Navy, their military in all forms. We've knocked out just about everything there is, including their leadership, twice.
The Oscars producers are rounding out their presenters for Sunday's extravaganza. Bill Pullman, Louis Pullman, Rose Byrne, Delroy Lindo, and Jimmy Kimmel among those who'll take the stage. The show will also feature two major performances from Oscar-nominated songs. Those are Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters and I Lied to You from Sinners. Wall Street, the Dow lost 289 points today. The Nasdaq picked up 19 and the S&P gave back 5. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law.
Nicholas Russo, 157 Church Street, New Haven, 06510.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it. by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441. 800-939-1441.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Her name is Manisha Juthani. That's her name. I have her up on the screen. We're behind the scenes talking. We're here with Kara Pavelok D'Amato, talking about a host of things. My wife is in a very, very unique position today, Kara, and let me explain to you why. She loves everything about politics right now. She wouldn't allow it in my house when we first got together at all.
Well, that was smart.
And now she was,
okay.
yeah, and now she is a diehard conservative.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, and it's for her to be in the room with people in the legislature and people running for office and meeting state senators and all this stuff. She is like a pig in poop. You have no idea. She is running around with these folks and meeting them. She's having these conversations. I've got to drag her out of rooms now. This is my wheelhouse. Every part of this is the stuff that I lived for over 20 years. She's been here 15 minutes, and I can't get her out of the room.
Well, you know what that sounds like to me?
What?
That sounds like a candidate. That's what that sounds like. So we'll work on that.
Okay.
We'll work on that.
All right. You know what? Anything that'll get her away from this baby making thing. That would be helpful.
That'll keep her busy.
That'll be fantastic. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Representative Roseanne. And it'll be interesting. I want to talk to you a little bit about the hearings that happened. Well, I guess you can call them their hearings that happened today. Get your take on some of those. Are you on any of the committees that are related to any of these?
So I'm the ranking member of Insurance and Real Estate.
Okay.
And let me start by saying that at this point, they actually don't send bills to us. They send them to Public Health because they know we will kill them in our committee because we are, rational people. And I'm also on Appropriations.
Right.
And then I am also on Judiciary. Okay. So the gun bills, the ICE bills have come before my committee Monday, and actually right now the hearing, I believe, is still going on.
That hearing's still going on. That's going to be on until, what, about midnight tonight, right?
That one will go late. Probably not as late. I think the other one, the public health one, will go till midnight.
Okay. What about the homeschooling will as well, I presume?
And that's in public health as well.
That's public health as well. Okay.
Correct.
All right. I'm trying to learn all of these. There's just so many of them. We'll talk to you a little bit about that when we get on the other side of traffic and weather. So thank you. Kara Pavelok D'Amato is here. We're talking to her about everything that's going on in the state, about the elections, where we are. I am going to dig a little deeper on that question about who's running for governor. But, you already gave your opinion. But I'm still going to press you on it. Let's get to that in a minute. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and to everyone. And if you're making your way in I-91, look for slow traffic now from 33 to 32 A&B. Another bump down bikes at 28. If you're westbound 84, that slows approaching the Bulkley Bridge in East Hartford out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound delays about a mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. If you're traveling into Middletown, 9 northbound delays Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Waterbury, westbound side of 84 slowing 25A to 25. And the eastbound 84 in Cheshire is sluggish from 26 down to the 691 interchange. Southbound Parkway losing speed between 50 and Hamden and the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We are tracking some showers between Torrington and Waterbury that are moving east. It'll move into the Hartford area very close to 5 o'clock and be out of there by 6 o'clock. There will be a couple of more showers overnight as well. Temperatures low 60s, dropping to the mid 40s overnight. This is associated with a strong cold front that will continue to drop temperatures even tomorrow. Cloudy, breezy, cooler showers with a high of 55. That'll be early in the day. We'll fall into the upper 30s though by this time tomorrow afternoon. Breezy tomorrow night, otherwise clear, the low temperature 26. Cooler with increasing clouds on Friday, breezy in the afternoon, the high 44. Windy on Saturday with a high of 47. 25 mile an hour winds, some gust up to 40 or 50 miles an hour. And then Sunday, cloudy, the high temperature of 40. Right now, we are looking at 70 in Granby, 66 in Willimantic, and 66 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and at newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Wisdom teeth giving you trouble? Columbia Dental's expert oral surgeons specialize in comfortable and efficient wisdom tooth removal. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
Champions are defined not by moments of glory, but by what they put in to get there. On the court, UConn's A.Z. Fudd, Caroline Ducharme, Morgan Shelley, and Sarah Williams show what it takes. And here in Connecticut, BPS Lawyers brings that same commitment in the courtroom.
National champions on the court, local champions in the courtroom. Different arenas, same pursuit of excellence.
One full-service firm, all your legal needs, always.
BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Visit bpslawyers.com.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify.
As it were, our church is in Bristol.
Really?
Nice. As it were, our church is in Bristol.
Really?
Nice. Bridge Community Church.
Yes, that is
on
a very
School
well-known
Street.
church. Yep.
Yeah. We just got baptized there on Sunday.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice.
And it's funny because I have to go to grocery shopping at the Stop and Shop in Bristol. I realized that because there isn't one close to me in Farmington. But it's a nice one. It's a nice place. we love it. It's just the drive. I don't like to drive. Right. I have a rule about driving. I don't drive anywhere that's longer than 4 songs. And if it's so if it's longer than that, then it's a worthless trip. Anyway, Representative, we have these hearings that are taking place. Some of them are going to go well into the night. And you know a couple of these very well, but I want to ask you about the ones that you're not directed or directly involved in. You have a young son here. How many kids do you have? You know what I'm asking?
One and done.
Just one and done. Okay. How old is the young man?
7.
7. Okay.
Yes.
You do not homeschool because you and your husband are very busy.
Correct, although I did consider it.
You have?
Yes, for the vaccine reason.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. The homeschooling parents are absolutely out there today in droves. And it was an endless sea of these mothers with their children. And we were completely awestruck by them. How disciplined their children were, how dedicated these parents are. What's your take on this administration, Martin Looney in particular, trying to get these parents who want to homeschool their kids a DCF file in order to do so?
Right. So there's an implication that they're doing something wrong or that they're not teaching their kids, when we all know that homeschooled kids, they get one-on-one attention, right? Which is really what most kids need.
Yeah.
And every homeschool kid that I know is far ahead of their counterparts in schools, even public or private, right? Because it does come down to that individual attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I admire parents that have the patience and dedication to homeschool their kids. And if I could, I do think it's a better option. But of course, many families can't afford to do it.
Sure, of course. They can't make that sacrifice for obvious reasons.
Right. But I do know I have, over the years, met many homeschool families. My neighbor homeschools her kids. And I'm always impressed with exactly what you just explained, their behavior, their knowledge, and their discipline. you have to have, right, a lot of self-discipline in order to get up at home and go to that corner of the house and teach your kids and do the research. It's a lot of work, right, for a lesson plan. And I really do admire them. If I could, I definitely would. I have to say, I couldn't go to the Capitol today to see, but when they were trying to pass the vaccine bill, I did actually represent the father and mother and father in that vaccine case, the first vaccine case years ago in Connecticut.
Talk to me a little about that.
That was, it was, again, the percentages of vaccines were published of kids who were not vaccinated were published, and my client's son went to a very small school, so it was very easy to pick out and point out. Now his kid also had autism.
In essence, he was given a scarlet letter.
Yes, exactly. And so he was threatened online and said, "Oh, we're going to throw peanut butter at your kid." Just really
holy moly,
really awful things that. And really, the way I saw that actually some of these kids and parents were treated up at the Capitol, and I'm sure again it happened today, is just awful. These are children.
Yeah.
And again, if you're vaccinated, what do you care? Like it doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
But there are some kids and some people who just, it's not right for them, right? It's not right for their kid, and failing to recognize that everybody in this world is different.
Yeah.
And that it's just not okay for some, and they had bad reactions because you're not going to get a medical exemption in this state. It is not going to happen. I don't care what happens to you and what you tried. No doctor will give it. No doctor at all.
It's incredible because I find it, and don't worry, it's okay. You can deal with him. That's your boy. If there's anything I can take from most of this that's going on, and I think the part that bothers me the most is that we should be commending, and it's weird that it's not happening, but we used to have a time where we were fighting, especially legislatively. We were fighting for mothers and children, right? What was the whole point of paid sick leave or what was the other thing? Not paid sick leave, but the other one. Paternity leave for parents was a big deal for people on the left because mothers and mothers and mothers and mothers. It was always the same case. And now we're seeing this sort of like abandonment of mothers who are making what I can only describe as the ultimate sacrifice. Every mother I've talked to so far, you know what they keep saying about the word sacrifice? The thing is that they have abandoned the idea of a career, right? Because a lot of women were made to, in the 80s, of course, 70s even, to pursue a career. They were sort of driven out of the home and not taking care of their kids. They've seen the errors in that have obviously permeated within our school system. Now they've decided to cut off that financial sort of I would say advantage to then come home and take care of their kids, which they believe is a bigger sacrifice or much more important to them, to be at home. And we as a government or even people, we're not rewarding those families by saying, leave them alone. They've taken what was the biggest problem that we had in schools for, I want to say, the last 25 to 30 years was school sizes. We just saw a report out of the large classrooms. We just saw a report in the Connecticut Mirror that says that they have the lowest attendance rate in schools than ever in Connecticut schools. So in essence, they don't have an excised amount of kids inside the classroom. The teacher, and guess what they're arguing about? They want more money for less kids. Yeah. Which leads me to believe that that's what all of this is about.
Right. Oh, well, it always is, right? Let's face it. It never has to do with the actual issue, because when you look at the vaccine, just the way that, when we argued that on the floor, I'll say that when you really look at the science, I happen to look at all of the statistics because of my case. And any case, let's say, where somebody died, which there are very few over the last, I'd say 50 years that I looked at, right? It was because somebody traveled outside of the country. And when they came back, they brought something back with them. And then there was, let's say, a lot of cases, not a lot, but the ones, I think it was like an infant, right? Because they weren't old enough to even get that vaccine yet. And so you're not looking at facts, right? We don't ever argue facts up there.
I know.
That's for sure. It's all emotion. And that's the upsetting part, because when you legislate based on emotion and not based on statistics and facts, Well, you get sloppy laws and you get ineffective laws, and that's where we are today.
The gun bill that is being sort of presided over, or the conversation has been talked about or ballyhooed about as of recent. Betsy McCoy was here earlier talking about, if you want to change something on the gun that you already own, in essence, you have to re-register your gun, which you're subject to licenses and fees. What are some of the other things that they're talking about in here that you're opposed to?
Well, what the bill today that we had the public hearing on and have the public hearing on, it's a piece. Now, what I did gather from a lot of testimony was that there's a term in there that even the most experienced gun owners, gun shop owners, gun owners, and then also gun instructors have never heard before. They had to Google it in the room because they have no idea what they're talking about. And then, on top of that, it's a piece that changes the Glock, okay, somehow. And while liberals were arguing that, no, we're if you're not breaking the law, then it doesn't affect you.
Right.
But essentially, that piece, if that piece is on your gun, or no, if the piece could be on your gun even.
Right.
Could be, not on your gun, could be. That you can't own that Glock anymore, that type of Glock.
Right.
And so all these individuals who have Glocks and this certain type now are committing a crime, basically. Like you can't have them anymore.
Yeah, you've actually committed a crime after the fact.
Exactly.
When doing something legal is now become criminal after the fact, which in essence now you have to retroactively be a criminal.
But you can't do ex post facto laws anyways. That's a given.
Well, I understand that there were some constitutional issues with this.
There always are. But here we just pass them, and then because there's so many bad ones, it's like they just wait and see, okay, are we going to get sued? And then I think that's the chance that they take. Like, oh, because you can't have money for all of them.
Do they not? You've been there. How long have you been in office now?
I'm in my 12th year.
Okay. Is it common to see so many people in the legislature not understand constitutional law or the Constitution? Is that a given, or is that regular? Is it norm?
I would guess that probably less than 5% of people up there have read the Connecticut Constitution, for sure.
Much less any Constitution,
yeah.
Right?
And then the federal, probably less than 10%, 100%.
So what we're doing is we're passing laws, and then we're finding out whether or not they meet the muster of the Connecticut, if not federal, Constitution.
Oh,
after the fact.
That is a total side note for most people up there, I would say. Yeah. Oh, yes.
The part that makes me laugh, as Betsy was talking about that, is like it's hard to believe that this is actually happening in the Constitution state. Oh, the irony.
It's insulting that that's what we're called, because we do not deserve to be called that.
I got to be honest with you. Can I tell you something what I really, really believe? And this is going to be mean. I've seen some of the people in the legislature. I've seen them. And I'm stunned that these people have ever passed a social studies class. These people are mad ghetto.
It's just there's people are. I would not say that.
Well,
but however,
I don't care.
It's just it's not taking the time to do the research. It's being reactionary and reading the bills. I guarantee you that most people don't read the bills, and never mind understand them. So that's the frustrating part for me, that we take an oath to the Constitution of Connecticut and the United States, period. We actually don't have to, there's nobody else we have a loyalty to except for the Constitution. Yeah. And that is the very last thing, if at all, that most people consider.
I look at these people and I will tell, I would put my litmus test for half the people, if not all the leftists or Democrats in Connecticut, would be one simple question. Do you believe that the Constitution is a living and breathing thing? And I bet you 80 to 90% of them would say yes. It's serious, because if they knew how many countries' constitutions have been changed in a matter of 10, 15, 30 years even, how many times they have been changed versus our Constitution, which in essence has to go through a process in order to be changed. If they understood those two and then compare said country and their constitutional laws changing in ours, I think they would sort of understand why it's important that our Constitution not be living and breathing and, in most cases, malleable to a lot of this, nonsense that these people believe. And, I started off by saying, I said it to Betsy even, that we are the only country where people do not understand that we should not have to petition our government for our basic rights.
Right.
And that's the world that we're living in, is that the Second Amendment is a Bill of Rights that we have to petition the government in order to exercise. Yeah. And nobody sees anything wrong with that.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. There's a lot of, I'd say, even basic rights that they don't, I don't think they understand the concept of what that actually means and the effect of these laws that we pass. And you mentioned another country, and I don't think that they even have been to another country to really appreciate, right, what we have.
Right.
Because as your wife had mentioned, I lived in Miami, and I can tell you that most of the individuals down there are very appreciative, because it was a lot of Cubans, individuals down there, and what they came from and what they fought and just to be here is so starkly different, and like the horror stories.
Yeah.
And from my ex-husband as well.
Yeah.
Just the factory taken away, everything taken away, friends kidnapped and killed. They have no idea. They're so ungrateful for what we have here.
This is what happens when you become too many generations removed from the greatest. I say the reason why we as Gen Xers really, really understand the importance of our Constitution is because, thankfully, my grandfather was part of the greatest generation. As the generations go on, the further removed you are from that generation who understands why the Constitution is important to us, you will take it for granted. And that's what we have. We have a sea of individuals who do not see the importance of our own civil basic rights in this country.
100%.
It is insanity. Kara Pavlok, thank you for coming onto the program. I'm sorry that it took so long to get you here, but it has been fantastic. Young man, you finally get your mother back. We are ending all this. He's looking at him. He's finally smiling. It's over.
Thank you for having us.
I really, really do appreciate it. And please come back when you can. I'll send you an email. By the way, is that telephone number good for you? The one that's on your email, is that your office number?
That both of them are on there.
Both of them? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll reach out to you. So, because emails I barely ever see. I'm not good with them. But I'll give you a holler. Folks, Kara Pavlok D'Amato, representative of the 77th District. We are going to get another check of weather and traffic, and we'll wrap up the show with your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, 91 southbound delays 33 down to 32 A and B. A little slow again down bikes to 28. Westbound 84 is tight, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound's locked up, approaching 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley Bridge. 2 eastbound's moving well, Glastonbury and East Hartford. 3 northbound's a little slow in Glastonbury, approaching exit 13B and C. 9 northbound Middletown's tight as you approach the Aragoni Bridge. Westbound 84 in Cheshire slows 26 to 25 in Waterbury. Again, 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Cheshire is sluggish from 26 to the 691 interchange. Southbound Parkway delays in Hamden, approaching 50 into the West Rock Tunnel, and 95 southbound delays 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clouds will continue to roll in with a shower in spots, especially tonight and early tomorrow. The low temperature down to 46. It will be breezy and cooler with a couple of showers tomorrow. The high temperature initially about 55 degrees, but falling into the upper 30s during the day. Tomorrow night it'll be breezy in the evening, otherwise clear with a low temperature of 26. Once we get into Friday, it'll be cooler, it'll be breezy, but we will have increasing clouds with a high temperature of 44. Saturday will be partly cloudy and windy. There's west wind 12 to 25 with gusts 40 to 45 miles an hour, the high temperature reaching 47. And on Sunday, cloudy with a high of 40. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Mystic, Hamden, Putnam. When you want local news, turn to WTIC News Talk 1080, reporting on the local stories that affect you. From Manchester to Mystic, Hartford to Hampton, and Putnam to Plymouth, one radio station has your local news and breaking news as it happens. WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen on your radio, smart speaker, and on your phone with the free Odyssey app.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
It's 5 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We have cloudy skies now, temperature of 68 degrees. And as you heard in the forecast there, the warmer temperature is going to be coming to an end soon. Emotional public hearings drew hundreds of families to the state capitol. Most are opposing new Democratic bills on vaccines and homeschooling. WTIC's Dave Mager reports.
Erica Borgen of Waterbury just started homeschooling her 5-year-old son.
I was drawn to it because the way our state is built and the freedom to homeschool our kids without any restrictions.
So she opposes this bill, which would require equivalent instruction. It would also require a report to DCF when a child is pulled from school, a reaction to the abuse and killing of Mimi Torres of Farmington and the alleged long-running abuse and captivity of a Waterbury man. Erica doesn't see the connection.
Do feel bad for the situations that happened, but that wasn't a homeschooling issue at all.
Supporters say Connecticut is one of the few states with no oversight of homeschooling. At the state capitol, Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
A bill in the state legislature would ban so-called convertible guns. Those are firearms that can be converted into illegal machine guns with a device known as a Glock switch. During a public hearing today of the Judiciary Committee, Lindy Renner testified that gun manufacturers are putting profits over public safety.
Because these companies choose profits over public safety, anyone with one of these pistols, an autoseer, and a screwdriver can turn their pistol into an illegal and extremely lethal machine gun in just a few minutes. The firearms industry has known about this problem for years, but has not taken responsibility and instead has refused to take serious action to fix their designs.
Speaking in opposition, Craig Storrs said law-abiding gun owners are being singled out for the actions of criminals.
This bill separately criminalizes the manufacture, sale, and distribution of a convertible pistol, regardless of whether any conversion device is present. In short, the state is seeking to ban a host of very popular firearms based purely on internal design characteristics before any conversion, misuse, or illegal configuration exists.
A not guilty plea by the man accused in the death of a girl whose remains were found in New Britain last fall. Jonathan Nanita was in court today. He's one of 3 adults charged in connection with the death of Jacqueline Mimi Torres Garcia. Nanita was the boyfriend of the 12-year-old's mother, who's also charged in her daughter's death. Mimi's decomposed body was found in a storage container. Her death has led to calls for reform when it comes to DCF and homeschooling. Nanita is due back in court in May. State Department says fewer Americans are seeking assistance to leave the Middle East. As CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick reports.
A statement says charter flights have been leaving the region with empty seats, and with commercial flights becoming more available, the State Department is scaling down the number of seats available on its flights as demand has dropped significantly. Over 43,000 Americans have returned from the Middle East since the fighting began, using a variety of means.
And President Trump says the U.S. will tap into its strategic petroleum reserve to combat high oil and gasoline prices since the war broke out in Iran.
So when I've been talking to oil analysts, they're saying, we're expecting this conflict to drag on at the moment. And so that's also why you're not seeing those oil prices come down, because they're weighing a significant release, but it's just not going to be enough based on what things are looking like in terms of length and the fact that those tankers are still being attacked.
It's Kelly O'Grady with Money Watch. In addition, the International Energy Agency, of which the U.S. is a member, said that it had agreed to release 400 million barrels of oil from its members' emergency reserve. Partial government shutdown continues to plague TSA workers who aren't getting paid. The third time workers will not be paid on time in recent months. Angela Grana is with the American Federation of Government Employees. She's the regional vice president there. covering those who man security lines at Denver International Airport.
To have the stress of not getting a paycheck, it's not fair. It's not fair for us. We seem to be the light switch, turn us on, turn us off, turn us on, turn us off. We're not robots. We do have an important job.
Democrats want changes to how ICE does its job before agreeing to end the shutdown. Dow lost 289 points today. The Nasdaq gained 19. The S&P was down 5. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Brian Shackman here for CertaPro Painters. I don't know about you, but a fresh coat of paint makes me feel good. That's why you might want to get in touch with the folks at CertaPro Painters. And now is a good time. Ask about their spring sales event. That's 10% off qualifying projects through May the 15th. And they can do inside, they can do outside. They did our kitchen. Man, they were timely, they were clean, and they were so respectful to everybody in our family. CertaPro Painters, by the way, independently owned and operated right here in our community. So schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. Again, that's Certa with a C.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. Reese and Roseanne. We're here. We're live. I don't want to not do music news. So let's do it. News. Thank you for humoring me, Roseanne. I got to go quick because we're running out of a minute. Anyway, Bobby McFerrin, Don't Worry, Be Happy fame. He turns 76 today. Lisa Loeb also has a birthday today. She turns 58 today. Joel and Benji Madden of the rock pop group Good Charlotte. They both turned 47 today. They're twins. One of the original members of the R&B group Destiny's Child, LaToya Luckett, who got kicked out after the first album. She turns 45 today. Also, anniversaries and album anniversaries today go to Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young. They released their landmark album Deja Vu in 1970. They celebrated their 56th anniversary. Chicago released the album Chicago 7, celebrating its 52nd anniversary. And Alice Cooper released Welcome to My Nightmare, his first solo album after his band's breakup. That celebrates its 51st anniversary. So that is your music news. Bobby McFerrin, Don't Worry, Be Happy. The best video I ever saw was the Family Guy doing a Bobby McFerrin falling down a flight of stairs, going to boo, beep, 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 beep. It was the best video ever. It still makes me laugh every time I think about it. But if there's any song I cannot stand, it is Don't Worry, Be Happy. In fact, when we come back after Mark Christopher at the BPS Traffic Center, I'm going to ask this question. What is the best top 40 song you know? In other words, it's corny, but it is a good top 40 song. He loves Chicago. Mark Christopher will tell you he loves Chicago. Don't you, Mark?
I love the horns. You know that. This is from Chicago 7.
That's right.
Happy man.
Yacht Rock.
I love
No, they're
Yacht
not
Rock.
Yacht Rock.
Yeah, well, they're on the edge.
They're on the edge of Yacht Rock.
Because they rock pretty hard in the early days.
I got a new thing with Yacht Rock right now. I'll tell you about it, Mark. It's a fix, right? I just watched the documentary on Yacht Rock.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's on Prime. It's called Yacht Rock. A documentary, but Doc is spelled D-O-C-K.
Oh, okay.
It's
well,
really
you
good.
know, my favorite band of all time is Steely Dan.
Yes, and they are the frontiermen.
Reese is a hall raiser.
Okay, stop it. We are moving on. Goodbye. We're moving on. Moving on. Thank you,
of
sir.
Of course, all that yacht rock is so good. I mean, Michael McDonald,
Indeed,
and, Kenny Loggins,
the fathers of yacht rock. It turns out.
Oh man, good stuff. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, the eastbound side of 84, you got delays. Half mile before 46th Avenue down to the Bulkley. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. Southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32A and B, and again down by exit 27 and 28. If you are traveling east of the river, no problems. 291, 384, 9 northbound's a little slow at the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. Westbound 84, that's slowing from 26 in Cheshire up to exit 22 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound's a little tight. 26 in Cheshire down to the 691 interchange. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Right now, we have a couple of showers moving through the Hartford area, and those will be gone by 5:30. Another round comes in later tonight with the low temperature dropping down to 46. Cloudy, breezy, cooler tomorrow. We start out at 55. We end up in the upper 30s. A strong cold front pushes through. Tomorrow night, breezy in the evening, otherwise clear down to 26 degrees. Back to the reality that we've seen so far in early March. Cooler on Friday, breezy. We'll have increasing clouds later in the day with a high of 44. Partly cloudy, windy on Saturday with a high of 47. Winds west at 12 to 25, though, and cloudy on Sunday with a high of 40. Right now, it's 68 in Wethersfield. We have 66 in Plainville and 66 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Reese and Roseanne, we are here live. I got to bring your camera down so that you can be seen. There you go.
Sorry.
That's all right. I was saying before the break.
About 11?
You don't have a. No, I wasn't talking about her. You said something funny. What did you say about?
I don't know. Everything I say is funny.
Yeah, that's right. That's ha ha ha. Anyway, I'll remember it in a minute. You mentioned something. Oh, you called me a hall raiser. That's not even funny.
Phil Dunphy said that guys who follow Hall & Oates are hall raisers,
Yes.
and I believe that is based in fact.
It's not a thing.
Who better than Phil Dunphy of Modern Family, who was himself a hall raiser, would know better?
It's not a real thing. The first time she saw that on Modern Family, she looked at me because she knew that I like Hall & Oates. And she looked at me and I had to scream at her, that's not a thing. That is not a thing. There's no such thing as Hall raisers. We do not follow Hall & Oates all around.
Ask Grok.
You can ask him all you want.
I'm going to ask Grok.
Doesn't happen. I was saying behind the scenes, Roland, do you know any top 40 songs? And when I say top 40, usually top 40 songs are relatively corny songs. Okay, let me give you some.
I wouldn't say that, but okay.
No, hear me out. A top 40 song is a song that, somebody from, I don't know, Duluth would like. Okay, it's like Celine Dion, Cyndi Lauper, right? What's the other one?
I've got a perfect one.
Starship. Okay, anything that Casey Kasem would have introduced on radio would be considered a top 40 song. It could be a rap record. Bust a Move is a top 40 record. Can't Touch This by MC Hammer is a top 40 song. You know them. Some of you love them. What I'm saying is, can you, if you had to decide, a top 40 song that you have to admit is actually a really, really good jam? What would you say that was if you had to pick, is top 40 corny milquetoast? You would hear it at a grocery store.
There's a lot of songs, man.
There's a lot of songs. I can name a few. Okay, let me start you off. What do you got? Go ahead, Roseanne.
I've got by Uh-huh.
Oh, Take On Me.
Take On Me?
You call that a solid record?
Love that song.
Solid top 40? Fine.
Absolutely.
I think it qualifies.
I even know all the words to this one.
No, you don't.
I do.
You know all the words to it.
I know all the words.
Yeah, okay, fine. We'll figure that out. Don't start singing. You do it all the time.
Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars.
Yep.
Okay, which one? Which song? Were you going to say 24 Karat?
No.
What's that Bruno song's top 40 record?
Got the lace.
Bruno Mars.
The funk song.
Uptown Funk.
Yeah, Uptown Funk.
Okay, solid track.
Yeah.
It's mad corny, though. Solid track. It's mad corny.
That
record is corny.
That's a banger.
No. It is a crowd pleaser at a wedding.
Anything by
No,
Britney Spears.
anywhere.
No, it's not.
Yeah, anywhere. You drop that song anywhere, they're going to start dancing and singing.
I never danced to that record.
You don't dance to anything.
Anywhere, any public place where you drop that, if you put a DJ in there and you drop that record, people are going to hit the dance floor.
Uptown Funk.
Yep.
Oh, I can't deal with that song. I'm never going to say that. Okay, I will give you an example, my example, okay? Hall & Oates' Kiss on My List is a corny, good record, okay? Man Eater.
Dancing Queen?
Solid record.
Anything from Dirty Dancing soundtrack?
I so hate you right now. Okay, yes, absolutely. Let me see.
Taylor Swift, a bunch of her songs.
Okay.
They're
Shake It Off is a solid record.
Oh, got a video of you dancing to that in the Wawa.
That's true.
Oh, you know what?
What?
Hey Ya.
Hey Ya, solid record. Solid record.
Yeah.
I would even go so far talking about Shake It Off. I'm not going to lie. Another one, Kendrick Lamar and Taylor Swift. Do you know what song it is? Come on, you got to know this. Taylor Swift did a record with Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, I know the song. I just don't know the name.
Why can't I remember the name of it right now? Oh,
it sounds horrible.
It is. No, it's a really, really good record.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a really good record, and it's not coming to me now. But that's a solid song. I'll give them that one.
What is that one? I've got friends in lower places.
Okay, solid top 40 record.
What's the name of that song?
Isn't that I Got Friends in Low Places?
Isn't that
Garth?
In Low Places.
Isn't that Garth Brooks?
Yeah, anything by Brooks
yeah,
and
Garth
Dunn, too.
Brooks.
Yeah, that's a Garth Brooks. Okay, Regulate by Warren G.
Oh, that's
solid record.
You think it's
a top 40 record?
You think that's a corny song?
It's a corny song.
That's gonna be played
Nah, that song is
It
fire.
is the worst record that includes Nate Dogg, and I think Nate Dogg
song is fire.
No, and Nate Dogg's done some garbage
Nate
records,
Dogg,
but
Warren G got to regulate.
No,
yeah,
Dude's
that
talking about
song is
getting
fire.
beat up.
What's that?
He's like glorifying, hey, I got beat up, and then my homies showed up, and then it was all
My
good.
point is that it's a corny record, and everyone knows it, and of course, because Michael McDonald is in it, makes it a top 40 record. It just
That
does.
Coolio song.
Gangsta's Paradise is not a solid record.
You don't think so?
No, it is not a solid record.
Oh my! It was a top. You said a top 40.
Yeah, but it's not a solid record. It's whack. It's just
Nah,
whack.
that song's fire.
When I see somebody driving up listening to Gangsta's Paradise, I literally want to give them a ticket.
I know that whole song word for word.
Of course you do. It's as simple as it gets. Knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want me by none other than
Title too long.
it's actually just called Knock 3 Times. But I was just giving the entire chorus line because it's by Tony Orlando and Dawn. Not a solid record. It isn't in. It doesn't matter that one of my relatives is in the band. It is not a solid record.
Bad Bunny.
Nothing by him
Ridiculous
is good.
Rabbit.
Everything.
Bad Blood. That's the song.
Oh, okay. You know we got Bad Blood.
Bad
You like
Blood
that song?
by yes, that's a solid record, and it is a top 40 corny record. It's a solid song.
That song by Queen.
Oh, okay. Bohemian Rhapsody.
There you go. That one.
Top 40 record, but it wasn't supposed to be. I'm so over that song. However,
awesome.
I will say, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, top 40 record, really, really solid.
Yeah, one of my favorite records of all time ever is Journey Separate Ways.
Yes, good record. Good record, solid record. I would go so far as to say You're a Hard Habit to Break, I think, is by Cetera. What's his name? John Cetera, whatever his name?
Peter Cetera.
Peter Cetera, that's his name. Yeah, solid record. Also, the soundtrack to Robin Hood, the Kevin Costner one.
Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Yeah, no, that's wrong. That's Mel Brooks.
We're men in
That's wrong.
tights.
No.
It's a great song, though.
Yeah, it is.
Great song.
That movie is hilarious.
I still love that movie. No, that's an awful record.
Dave Chappelle was in that movie,
Yes,
wasn't
he
he?
was. Yes, he was.
Was he a crackhead in that one, too?
No. No.
He wasn't,
His
but-
name was Achu.
Yeah.
John.
His name was Achu.
His father's name was A Sneeze.
That movie was made by a bunch of dads doing with dad jokes.
That thing was filled with dad jokes.
I tried to watch that movie with the boy when he was like 9 or 10.
Yes.
The opening scene, I was like, oh,
Yes.
no.
Isaac Hayes plays A Sneeze. He says, I want you to go help my son, Achu. He goes, God bless you. He goes, no, that's my son's name. I still love that movie. I know every part of that movie. My favorite line is, he goes, when he meets Mel Brooks, and the Moyle, and he says to him, we said, I'm Robin Hood, and these are my merry men. And Mel Brooks goes, Fagalist? And he goes, no, we're straight, just merry. That movie is, you're right, it is a lot of dad jokes.
It's a bunch of dads that just
There's a lot of dad
wrote
jokes.
the script for that.
Absolutely. And I cannot, Spaceballs.
I watch it every time it comes on.
Do you really?
Like anytime I'm just like flicking through channels, and I'll land on that. For some reason, I end up watching the entire movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Hey, John Beckman, you were right on point. Any song by Casey and the Sunshine Band, solid top 40 record, solid records. Casey and the Sunshine Band, they understood. I mean, the white boy could jam, without a doubt. Casey really understood rhythm. I'm just saying, he just did.
I don't know
Solid,
anything about
solid. You know what? Shake, shake, shake. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Shake, shake,
your
shake.
booty.
That's right, Casey and the
Oh,
Sunshine
okay.
Band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
can't go wrong with him.
Okay.
He's absolutely fantastic. I will go with any one of those guys. But it was just running through my mind today as I was listening to all of this yacht rock. By the way, if you haven't seen the documentary, go check it out. It's called Yacht Rock, a documentary, doc spelled D-O-C-K. And it talks about the origins of all of this music that was in this era.
It was between disco and before R&B. It was sort of this little slip in between where it was a little emo, angsty, broken-hearted boy.
But I will tell you,
melody.
Here's the part that blew my mind, and I would have never known it had I not seen the documentary. This one will blow your mind, Roland. The album Thriller by Michael Jackson is 100% inspired by the yacht rock movement. Try this on for size. Quincy Jones decides he's going to do this album for Michael Jackson. There are 2, if not 3, key songs. I think it's even more than it. It may have been 4 key songs in the Thriller album that were all inspired by groups like Toto, Steely Dan, Michael McDonald, and Kenny Loggins. All of them. Human Nature, The Girl Is Mine. What was the other one? There's 2 other ones that are not coming to me, but I'll look them up. But they were all, Quincy Jones saw this movement going on with these white guys who could jam. And Toto and, of course, Steely Dan had all of these rhythmic songs that were coming out, two of which, I mean, I think the godfathers of yacht rock are Kenny Loggins and Michael McDonald, who had written two songs together that were songs of the year. This Is It and I keep forgetting.
Well, the guy who did
Christopher Cross.
Yeah.
His story is amazing, how that guy won like every top 3 Grammy and Best New Artist in that year and beat out people like Barbra Streisand. Nobody ever heard of this guy, and he took home the 3 big Grammys plus Best New Artist. I think in the documentary he says that he wanted to go meet Barbra Streisand, but somebody told him it may not be a good time. Even Barbra Streisand was influenced by this, because I listened to a song we were playing in there, the song she did with Andy Gibb called Guilty. They did that song. It's actually a song I used to like. It's the only Barbra Streisand song I like.
Toto wrote a song about me.
Yes, Rosanna.
Yeah.
That's right.
I love that song.
I know you do. You really think it's about you.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you really do.
Have you listened to the words?
The song came out before you were born. Actually, it came out just after you were born.
Listen, it was a preview of what was to come. I had a lot to live up to.
Yeah, of course you did. Okay, when we come back, we'll take all your phone calls. If you want to respond to our guest today, Betsy McCoy was in the house. Kara Pavelak D'Amato was in the house. We'll talk to her. And what was that? That was weird. Oh, is that your phone going off?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I put it on.
Do you have like a dinosaur sound effect that comes out of your phone?
No, I have. It's actually, if you currently, since 2015.
Yeah.
I'm the one that was responsible for the college football theme music on ESPN.
That's right.
And I did all of that. I edited all of that, and so I back then I made it one of my ringtones because I was proud of it. Something I created, and they still obviously it's still the themes. It's still a theme music for ESPN today. So
you just got one final check. You don't get any residuals from that.
No. Because when you're under Disney, anything you create under Disney belongs to Disney.
Okay.
I could just say I did it, and
at least you can say that.
know that.
Yeah, without a doubt. I was just gonna say, saying, let me get $5.
I know.
Me and John Colby, he was the composer.
Yeah. By the way, Roseanne, now they're saying that Roseanne for governor, that now people are talking about, as long as they got off the baby thing.
Roseanne for governor.
Listen, I'm not opposed. I already told you shortly after we got here, I would love to run for office. It's one of the things I always wanted to do since I was very young.
You in the right state.
I had my goals when I was a kid was join the military, go to law school, become an FBI agent, and run for political office. Those were the only one that's not going to happen is the FBI agent because I'm too old for the FBI. But
that's okay. That's all right. You can get you an FBI shirt. How about that? No. I want to somehow finagle my way into. I will be a contractor at the FBI. I don't care. That would be like a dream come true. Honestly, just get the creds. We'll be back. Mark Christopher, he is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center getting you home. Hey, Mark. Hey. Told you. Hey. Hey. Told you it's a solid record. You can't front on that, Roland. Not a solid record. Not a solid record. No. This is the worst record ever.
What's wrong with this song?
This song is garbage.
Don't listen to this fool.
This song is straight trash.
Gina was a man.
Listen to me. You want to hear?
Gina was a man. This song was before its time.
Hold on. You want to hear something interesting about this record? It was so crazy. Even Van Halen didn't realize they were sampling their record. Did you know that?
Really?
Van Halen was like, hey, this sounds familiar. Like, it's your record.
They were probably too high to recognize it.
Say no to drugs, ladies and gentlemen.
What about Dude Looks Like a Lady? He
No,
looks like a they, them.
not a solid
Dude looks
record.
Like a they, them.
Goodbye. Get out of here. Goodbye.
This traffic report being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. And if you are traveling southbound 91 into Hartford, delays 33 to 32 A and B, and again 27 to 28. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound delays 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 north again slowing 32 to 34 in New Britain. Westbound on 72 in Plainville. Look out for an accident. This looks like it's up in the area of exit 5. Maybe on the 5 off-ramp there, so use caution. Delays behind that. Heading into Waterbury, 84 westbound slowing 26 to 25A, 84 eastbound sluggish 26 down to the 691 interchange. Southbound Parkway delays 51 in Hamden toward the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic moves slow, but your transformation shouldn't. Columbia Implant Center provides full dental implants in just one visit. Open 7 days a week in Manchester to fit your busy life. Get your smile back today at ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The clouds continuing to increase with a couple of showers, perhaps a rumble of thunder. The low temperature down to 46 overnight. Cloudy, breezy, cooler, a couple of showers tomorrow. We reach 55 degrees in the morning but fall into the upper 30s during the afternoon. Breezy tomorrow evening, otherwise clear, the low temperature 26. Cooler on Friday with increasing clouds, still a bit of a breeze, the high temperature 44. And Saturday, partly cloudy and windy, the high 47. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 5:30. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Not guilty plea for a man accused in the death of his ex-girlfriend's daughter. Jonathan Anita was in court on murder charges today. The death of Jacqueline Mimi Torres Garcia. Her remains were found in a storage container in back of a New Britain home last fall. The medical examiner ruled Mimi was abused and starved. Her mother and aunt are also charged in her death. As for Nanita, he is due back in court in May. Suspected member of the terror group MS-13 has been arrested in Connecticut. The FBI's New Haven field office says Danny Antonio Granados Garcia was picked up in Waterbury. He's wanted in El Salvador for the murder of a pastor who was the relative of a police officer. Busy day at the state capitol. Public hearings being held on a number of issues, including vaccine mandates, guns, and public education, homeschooling. That has brought out hundreds of people to testify on either one or all of those events today. Issue involving 911 service in southeastern Connecticut's been resolved. That from the Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection. Earlier, emergency calls are being routed to other answering points by the department, but they say now that the problem has been resolved. Governments are working on plans to unblock the Strait of Hormuz, a vital choke point. The Iran war has effectively closed the waterway and pushed up gasoline prices. Meantime, Iran has attacked commercial ships and targeted Dubai International Airport. In the 12th day of the military campaign the U.S. and Israel have launched against Iran. And Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Journey are rescheduling their gig at the People's Bank Arena on Saturday. On a Facebook post, Journey says weather conditions in Canada have goofed up their tour schedule, so they will now play the Hartford venue on May 24th. Wall Street, the Dow down 289 points today, the NASDAQ up 19, and the S&P was down 5. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Let's take a step back in time to an era when things were built right, built to last, and a handshake meant something. Yankee Home delivers that same craftsmanship still today. It's midwinter, and you can really feel it every time you walk by your old windows. Cold drafts sneaking in, warm air slipping out, and some mornings you can see your breath inside. It's time to call Yankee Home. Yankee Home's energy-efficient, high-quality windows are designed to keep the warm air in and the cold air out all winter long. And every job is done right the first time, never cattywampus. Take advantage of our winter special. Buy 4 or more windows and get free installation or financing options like 0 down and 0% interest. Call Yankee Home now at 1-800-885-HOME. That's 1-800-885-HOME. Or visit yankeehome.com.
Yankee Home makes it easy as can be with our never cattywampus lifetime guarantee. Yankee
On approved credit, restrictions apply.
Spring cleaning is upon us, but there's one meaningful box that you don't throw away when cleaning out your closet. It's the box filled with your family's important videotapes, film reels, and photos. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago to help families organize and update their analog media to digital.
Legacy Box is simple and easy. It works and is safe. Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box.
And Legacy Box has been featured in Good Housekeeping, The Today Show, and Rachel Ray.
Legacy Box is like magic, converting your shoebox of memories to the cloud or thumb drive, ready to watch and share.
Declutter your closet by digitizing your media. Become more organized and accomplished, knowing your family's recorded past is safe forever. Take advantage of our spring cleaning sale going on now. It's the easiest task to check off your to-do list.
For a limited time, you can get started for just $9 a tape. Visit legacybox.com/radio to get our $9 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to get our $9 offer. legacybox.com/radio.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
We're back. It's Reese, it's Roseanne, it's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. I would play the audio for Stupidest Thing I Read Today, but I figured that's not necessary. I got to hurry up. I heard this story. I thought it was funny, but I also thought it was stupid. Danbury is giving itself a pat on the back. It has been named among the top 10 diverse cities in the nation. Why has it been considered? Here it is. Ranking and context says Danbury was ranked 7th, the 7th most diverse city in the U.S. overall, making it a top-ranked city in Connecticut ahead of Bridgeport at 13, Stamford, which is at 26. It's an improvement from prior years, 9th in 2025 and 10th in 2024, reflecting ongoing demographic shifts inside Danbury. Now, the reason why I'm poking fun at this and why I think it's funny and stupid is because this is a clear example that people who write these stories are racists and bigots. And that is, they think that diversity is important because they have different people from different cultures and different colors. They think that is important. They do not see people as equals. They see them as other. They see them, oh, look at it. We got some Puerto Ricans over here. Look, there's some Mexicans over there. Is that guy Indian or Pakistani? I don't know. They pat themselves on the back about that because they're silly, infantile, and bigots. Folks, Danbury is not diverse. Danbury is like a town filled with peanut M&Ms. Sure, they may be all different colors, but they're all nuts. You see, diversity would be if Danbury was like a bag of Skittles. That means that every time you pop one in your mouth, there's a different flavor. You see, Danbury is over 65% Democrat. They're all the same with different colors. True diversity is having a dialogue about ways of life that see the world differently, and then they debate on it. And then they can actually work cohesively. They all have different ideas and different ways of life. A bunch of people with the same idea is not diversity. If you only see diversity in color, you're a racist, just so you understand. Okay? True diversity means your ideas are different. Not the textbook, stupid little way that people think that they're diverse. Okay? So stop patting yourself on the back. You're not doing anything remarkable. Remarkable would be giving exquisite traffic reports like our good friend Mark Christopher in the BPS Lawyers Driving Center. Hey, Mark.
I am the definition of unremarkable, so don't go there. I am average, ordinary, baby. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, this traffic report is being brought to you by me. And if you're westbound 84, you've got delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound's tied up a mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. Southbound 91's a little tight, 33 down to 32 A&B, and again 27 to 28. 291 through 84, okay. 2 westbound slowing, 1D up to the 84 West merge. Heading 9 northbound, a little slow, 32 up to 34, Berlin into New Britain. Westbound 84 is running slow, 26 to 25 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound, Cheshire is tied up 26 down to the 691 interchange. Southbound Parkway, some slow traffic, 51 down to 50 in Hamden, and 95 southbound delays 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The road's a little wet for the couple of showers that moved through. We are dry now until later this evening when more rain comes. The low temperature down to 46 overnight. Cloudy, breezy, cool with a couple of showers tomorrow. 55 degrees when you wake up in the morning, dropping into the upper 30s by later in the day. A strong cold front on the way. Breezy tomorrow night, clear. The low temperature well below freezing at 26. Friday we will have increasing clouds, a bit of a breeze in the afternoon, the high 44. Saturday will be downright windy. Sustained winds at 12 to 25, some gusts 35 to 40, the high temperature 47, cloudy up to 40 degrees on Sunday. Right now we have 70 in East Granby, we have 68 Wethersfield, and 66 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and at newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-747-7676. 800-747-7676. Again, that's 800-747-7676.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're about to get up out of here. We had what can only be described as an eventful day in downtown Hartford. Roseanne saw Hartford again during the daytime, and she says the same thing.
So not impressed. Who was it that recommended that we don't live there?
Mark in West Hartford said don't.
So
he was the first person to say don't live there.
When we first were looking at moving to the Hartford, Connecticut area, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to live in downtown Hartford. I want to be close to the water. I want to be where all this stuff is. And somebody was like walking through Hartford with the camera, like, this is why you don't want to live. And he's like, if you could smell it, you would smell nothing but marijuana. Marijuana makes me really nauseous.
It does.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
It was just by City Hall. We were crossing the street, and it was
gross.
Everywhere.
Garbage everywhere. There were people with, like, tattoos on their, like, face and chest and, like, looking at you
we
like...
were near the courthouse, though.
We were by the criminal court, actually.
Superior Courthouse.
No,
yes.
it literally said criminal courthouse.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah.
I missed that.
You would think that, you know, somehow, like, we'd offended everybody there because, you know, we had the caucasity of walking through the area. But the smell of marijuana is one thing. What I really hate is the garbage that's everywhere. it's not as bad as San Antonio where we saw like,
No,
people sleeping on the ground.
It's a clean city compared
to
places
San Antonio.
we've seen. Sure.
But still, I mean, it's just the poverty. You know, NIMBY, I am a NIMBY. I am definitely not in my backyard. I have worked really, really hard to not live in those conditions, and thank you, Mark and West Hartford, for saving me from thinking
We're
that's
going
where
to
we're
spend
live.
a lot of time in that city, unfortunately, because, you know, and we got to be in Bridgeport, too.
What's Bridgeport?
Yeah, another place you don't want to go. That's the best way to put it. Let me put it to you this way. And again, you don't always have to be there. And we'll get to the phones in a second, folks, so bear with us. Look, we have a campaign that we are. Well, I'm going to be working on.
I haven't even announced my.
No, I wasn't talking about you.
Oh, okay.
My campaign, and this is something interesting that I know that people do not understand. So, I am not endorsing anybody on the Republican side, but I am endorsing a Republican. Let's put it that way. I am not in the business of doing this whole thing about how do we promote the Republican. No, I am not here to do that. You see, having won campaigns, I understand that there is a really, really important thing that needs to be done, and that is influencing those who would usually vote for the incumbent that I wish to unseat. And the only way I do that is by reaching the people who would most likely vote for that incumbent. So, my job this spring and this summer, as we come to this election season, is to talk to the people where it matters. See, it's to walk the neighborhoods of Hartford and New Haven and Bridgeport and to talk to people who vote and to say to them, do you want more of the same? Do you want more legislation that is not at the heart of what you believe in, what you want for the towns and neighborhoods you live in? Well, this is the reason why. Hey, and if you don't want to vote for a Republican, that's fine. But you know what? If you vote for more of the same, you will get far worse than the same. And I'm going to make that case, and I'm going to hit the ground running. I don't need a candidate to join me. I've got better, let's just say, I've got
sites.
I've got bigger sites, and of course, I will say that I have an access that a lot of them cannot and will not do. And I am going to do it with visual aid. And I am going to make rock stars out of these people, because I'm going to make sure that you see them respond to what's happening in their state, and they will be engaged. Now, I'll lay it out like this. Imagine you've got 10 people that you need not to vote for the guy who's the Democrat. And imagine having a turnout that says 3 of those people out of the 10 voted for the Republican, and the other 7 did not vote for the Democrat. That is what I call winning. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Oh, yeah. I am actually telling you what I'm going to do. I'm giving you my playbook. And we're going to do it all across the state. And we're going to spend a lot of time doing it. And we are going to have visual aids that actually show people what we're talking about. My Kevin Meggett, who I talk about all the time, he says, I'm from Missouri, and that's the show me state. Well, there's going to be a lot of show me from Reese on the Radio. And you are going to watch it because I'm going to show it all on social media. And I apologize, but the Democrat Party, and you know who you are, will never be able to combat this. You're going to have to pay people to show up, which I know you'll do anyway.
And have all the illegals come.
Yeah.
Which is why they don't want
we will
ICE at
do
the polls.
We will do all of that and so much more. And yeah, is it bold and arrogant to tell you what I'm doing? Oh yeah, I know. I'm well aware of it. I did it before, and I'll do it again.
Yeah, Virginia, right?
Yeah, that's right. Let's get to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. I'm going to take Sean in Meriden real quick. Hi, Sean.
Number one, I loved you guys about the songs. It was absolutely hilarious. I would kick in a couple here. Tears for Fears. Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Absolutely solid record.
And Earth, Wind, and Fire. Remember or you know,
the 21st of September.
Yeah, you know.
September 21st.
Great song.
Yeah, that's a solid record.
So just FYI. But then the quick on a little sour note for Attorney Tong, I called his office today.
Yep.
Because the only question I asked him is this. I said, why do you sue the federal government so much and spend our taxpayer dollars when you guys are wrong, when all you have to do is turn in the voter rolls unless you're having illegals on them?
Yeah, exactly.
Because there would be no reason to. And she goes, who are you? And what is your name? And where do you live? And what is your number? And I'm like, well, why don't you just ask my? I'm just asking you a question. You're part of his office. I assume that you know what's going on in his office. Please answer the question. She goes, hold on, let me transfer you. Transfer me to an answer machine.
Wow.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
Before she would even answer, do you have her name?
I don't.
Okay.
That's okay. Well,
but it was a woman, and she said she was the head of his organization there at the office.
Listen, here's what I would implore anybody to do who calls a public official. Do two things. Well, one thing I would say, the most important thing, paramount, is to no, get on the phone and just say, hi, this is such and such calling from a recorded line. I'd like to ask a question to William Tong. Just say that and you should record exactly what their response is.
Right. So I wasn't done with my questioning. So you didn't get her name, but her first response when you asked, why are you wasting our money? Her first response was, what's your name? Where do you live? What's your phone number?
Exactly.
I'm sorry. This is screaming John Flynn to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That immediately said to me, because I'm 66 years old and a social worker from the inner city. So that said, okay, retaliation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what that sounds like. Sean, in the future, make sure you do that. Always record those phone calls.
I will do that.
And just let them know.
Go
ahead.
But on the songs, you guys were kicking it. I loved it.
I appreciate you. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you, man.
Have a good day. Bye.
You got it. Steve is in Andover. How are you, sir?
Hey, good afternoon.
Sir, you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. You cut out real quick. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Good afternoon. So two things. One, I was going to call about the Bristol rep and some of her conversation, but
yeah,
when I got back in my truck, I heard you guys talking about yacht rock and Michael Jackson.
Yes.
So here's my serious question, and I know you've got ties into the music world, and so does Roland.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a question I've always wondered about, and I can't find an answer to it anywhere. In Michael Jackson's Thriller, he uses Vincent Price, okay?
Yes.
To do that whole word section, which was really, really cool.
It's technically called a rap. It's called Vincent's Rap.
Okay. So I would like to know, since we can't question either one of them since they're both dead.
Right.
But was Michael Jackson inspired to use Vincent Price by Meatloaf using the Yankees dude there in Paradise by the Dashboard Light?
That's such a great question. I've
always figured, where did he get the idea for that if he didn't steal it from Meatloaf? Using, what was that guy's name? Phil Rizzuto.
Yeah, Phil Rizzuto. Right. And it was, I can see, yeah, exactly. Paradise by the Dashboard Light. But you know what's funny? I thought a lot of times, that Michael Jackson would borrow certain things as far as songwriting. You know what I always thought? I always thought Heartbreak Hotel was, because with the Jacksons had an album and he had a song called Heartbreak Hotel in the album. I was wondering if that was inspired by Elvis Presley. It turns out it wasn't at all. Because remember, Michael had this sort of weird, not association, but he was very much inspired by Elvis Presley in a lot of ways. It wasn't often talked about. So I thought it was supposed to be like an R&B version of the Heartbreak Hotel by Elvis. Turns out it's not. So it's interesting. I'm going to look into that whole Vincent Price Thriller and Dashboard Light connection and see if there is one.
Yeah, because they're so similar. If you listen to how those two songs play out,
mm-hmm.
and at what point those rap parts are inserted into the song, it's very weird, timing wise and everything else. It's just I don't know.
I couldn't say exactly. I don't see exactly how they wouldn't be. It's somewhat associated. I mean, I every artist is inspired by another one. So yeah, there could be a possibility. I'll check into that. Real quick, what were you going to say? You were calling about Kara Povolak.
So one of the things that I would just I always recommend, because I'm a huge 2A guy.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I couldn't go testify today, but I did submit written testimony for those two in opposition to those two anti-American bills that they're trying to pass.
Yeah.
But in talking to somebody like that, one of the things that I always wonder about is ask them pointed 2A questions, because you will quickly figure out who's a rhino trying to dance around things.
Yeah.
And who is actually a true, conservative who supports the Second Amendment. And you'll get those sort of fuds who come out and go, oh wow, I'm a gun owner and this that, and the other thing, but but I'm not going to support magazine limits over 10 rounds and those black evil AR-15s. Those don't belong anywhere. And you quickly realize this person's not a conservative.
Yeah,
they're a rhino.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just one of those questions, and I didn't hear her talk anything about any of those bills today that had to do on the gun side.
She did. She talked about the fact that if you already own a particular Glock, if it can be used or have this device attached to it, then in essence you are already guilty of a crime. So
that's what'll end up.
Oh,
happening.
are you
Exactly.
talking? Oh, you were talking about Betsy.
No, you were quoting Betsy. That was what Betsy said to us off air.
Oh, right. Okay, I got you. Okay, but I will make sure that I'm cognizant of that in the future.
Yeah, you just give them like a nice pointed question about a 2A thing, and you'll quickly realize, who the true rhinos are and who the true conservatives are.
Indeed. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you, buddy. You got it. We got to get up out of here. Somebody had just called me from a 917 number, and I have a strange feeling I know who it was. Forgive me for a quick second as I check to see if it was. No, I don't know who that was. That's weird. I don't know anybody who calls from New York. Somebody must have found my number. Do I have time for one more? You want me to take one more? Really? Okay, fine. Let's take Sam the Man in Waterbury. How are you, buddy?
Sam.
What's up, Sammy?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
We're good. What's up?
Not much.
Oh, this is a different Sam in Waterbury. I'm sorry, Sam. What's up?
Oh no. Rosanna mentioned something about NIMBY before.
Yes.
I have another acronym for you.
Okay.
It's banana.
Okay.
Banana. Build absolutely nothing anywhere near anybody.
I concur. That would have worked in Texas.
That's the safest way to go.
Yeah, that would have worked in Texas, but I just can't do 300-degree weather 9 days out of the year.
Yeah.
Or 9 months out of the year, yeah.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. We got to get up out of here.
Have a wonderful day, guys.
Thank you, man. You too.
Thank you.
That's it's actually a pretty good one.
Writing it down.
I can't get to the rest of these. I got like a minute left before we get out of here.
Hurry up, spit them out.
Nope. All right, 30 seconds even. Roseanne, thank you today for coming out with me and coming to spend some time on the show. We got a meeting to attend tonight. It's our second meeting. So if you know somebody who is interested in coming down and, has a desire, come see us at Bridge Community. We'll be there tonight. And with that, as I always say, radio is free. So we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. She is Roseanne on the radio. Say goodnight, Roseanne.
Good night, Roseanne.
Have a good night. A pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 2 p.m. Mark Christopher, he is getting you home. It's still light outside.
Beautiful.
That's right. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Good night, sir.
Good night, Reese. If you're heading into Hartford right now, Route 2 eastbound between exit 2B and 3, the left lane is shut down there with a crash, so look out for that. If you are heading right now the southbound side of 91.